11 Sports presents St. Luke's Sports Medicine Game of the Week.
Smithfield, Wilson Area High School, the site for Colonial League football action on this Saturday afternoon is their D11sports.com Game of the Week, presented by St. Luke's Sports Medicine. We got a good one for you, the Penn Argyl Green Knights taking on the Wilson Warriors. Hi and welcome, everyone. Al DeCaro alongside Matt Avancho. So glad you could join us here on D11sports.com, the first Saturday of 2022, and a great matchup. How about the 102nd meeting and 100th in a row between these two teams? This should be exciting today.
Absolutely. Way to start 2022, having this matchup between two historic programs that have been rivals throughout years and have had battles throughout years. And we'll hear about some of those players and some of those games that we've seen throughout the Lehigh Valley with these two in a little bit.
Well, as we take a look at this matchup and talk about Penn Argyl first, they were 0-10 a year ago under head coach Brady Mutton, who is now in his third year. He's a 2004 graduate, and for Brady, he has a quarterback back in Brad Rissmiller.
And Brad Rissmiller shared time last year, but took over the reins and really showed Coach Mutton what he can do. He's very successful in throwing the ball, can run the ball as well, and Coach Mutton had nothing but praise for him and what he's done in the offseason to prepare for this season.
Well, when you look at the Wilson Warriors, a little bit different. Chris Labach is gone as the head coach, and Mike Fleming, who graduated from Easton in 2015 in his first year, he's jacked up, he's excited, and he goes with a transfer from Allen at quarterback and Chris Weston.
And that's really an unknown for everybody right now. Chris Weston, what can he do and what's he going to do for the Warriors? But the Warriors have to replace a ton of skill position players. Chris Weston physically looks the part. We'll see what he can do today.
Well, we expect a good matchup between these two teams. It's Penn Argyl Wilson, our D11sports.com Game of the Week, presented by St. Luke's Sports Medicine. It's yours next.
St. Luke's Orthopedic Care. Extraordinary care in motion.
At St. Luke's Orthopedic Care, you can trust us with your hands, feet, shoulders, hips, and knees. Because healthy bones and joints mean you can do more. You can trust us to recommend the right approach to care, including joint-sparing treatments and therapies. And when surgery is the only choice, we offer options to help you heal faster, including technology-assisted joint replacements and muscle-sparing hip surgery. St. Luke's, the orthopedic care you trust, now more than ever.
We are back here at Wilson Area High School. A great matchup between these two teams expected. Two sideline reporters in Pearson Yulsis from Nazareth and Chase Eller from Wilson. Braden Krasnopera is actually the starting Penn Argyl center. We'll hear from him hopefully a little bit later on. But right now we go down to Pearson.
Hey, I'm Pearson Yulsis, student reporter for D11 Sports.
And I'm Chase Eller. Here today we have a matchup between Wilson and Penn Argyl. I had a pleasure to speak to Coach Fleming. He was able to say that he's very excited for his first game here and just a great start. He had mentioned a key player in Chris Weston and his wide receiver Ian Freckety. They're ready to take the field and combat Penn Argyl's nice, strong defensive line.
And I also got a chance to speak to Coach Mountain of Penn Argyl. Some key players that he mentioned was quarterback Brad Rissmiller, and he also brought up wide receiver Damian Tominski, and hopefully these two players will have just as strong of a game, and hopefully that this will be a nice close matchup for a nice Saturday afternoon. Back to you guys upstairs.
All right, guys, thanks a lot. Much appreciated as we get ready for this game to get underway. And with that, an opportunity for us also to get ready for this matchup. And, Matt, we expect a pretty good matchup between these two teams. You mentioned Wilson lost a lot of skilled players, a little bit different from a year ago to where they are now.
Exactly, and we talked to both coaches about last year's game and what kind of effect that plays going into this year's. And on Wilson's side, Coach Fleming said they really hadn't talked about the game. They watched the game film, tried to see some schematic things, but really didn't focus on the game. Coach Mutton, their focus was the mistakes that they made. They made a lot of mistakes. They had a punt return for a touchdown early in that game that kind of broke their backs and kind of forced them to always have an uphill battle. But they're looking to be able to get out and try to change that and lead this game from the beginning with their skill position. And Damian Tominski is going to be the guy to watch. You had a great one last night at Palmerton and their star player, but Damian Tominski, he is the player for Penn Argyl. And if he can be successful and have a big day, I think Wilson's going to be in for some trouble.
Well, we'll see what happens. These two teams, we mentioned, as we get ready for these two teams to make their way onto the field and get ready for this to actually get started, it's an exciting time because it's the first Saturday. We always talk about that, and we get jacked about that each and every time. And with that, we'll have an opportunity to bring in our keys to the game, and we'll start things off here with the Penn Argyl Green Knights. And the keys to the game brought to you by Cliff Lewis Experience.
And Penn Argyl, Coach Mutton, he focused on two things, really, and two things only: the negative plays and turnovers. Last year they had a ton of turnovers, and this year they want to start to create those turnovers and try to help that build some momentum and get things going offensively.
And on the other side, the Wilson Warriors, keys to the game, also brought to you by Cliff Lewis Experience.
And for Wilson, they need to get their offense going, create some good drives. They feel they have a strong offensive line that they can rely on. They have some veteran leadership up there, so they want to rely on that and keep those long drives and then end them with scores. Defensively, as we talked about, Damian Tominski, also Chris Keller for Penn Argyl and Brad Rismill, the Wilson defense has to keep them from giving up big plays. Tominski burned them a few times last year. They're going to have their hands full, and hopefully they can get that done today.
Today's Keys to the Game brought to you by Cliff Lewis Experience at Caldwell Banker Hertside. Ranked as the #1 real estate team in Pennsylvania, #2 nationwide, the Cliff Lewis Experience can help you with all your real estate needs. Serving the Lehigh Valley, Berks, Bucks, and Montgomery counties. Visit their website at clifflewisrealtor.com or call 610-936-9960 to speak with an agent today. You just get ready. You got that itch. Ask both coaches, how'd you sleep? I always ask that question opening week. I used to ask you that question the same way. I don't know if you slept or didn't sleep. I don't remember what it was. But for Coach Fleming, slept perfectly. For Coach Mutton, didn't sleep at all.
And I think it's a difference of personalities. I think Coach Fleming saw for him, he was confident in the preparation they put in for the week. That he felt, they got everything across to the players. Everything that the players needed to know, they knew. They repped it all week long. He felt, he did his job. They were prepared. For Coach Mutton, same idea. He felt they were prepared. They had a good week. They faced a good Old Forge team in their scrimmage last week. But just not the unsure, coming off, you have to speak about it, not having a win since 2020, that wears on a coach, whether you want to talk about it or not. And I know he would never say anything about it. It does wear on you, and I know they're itching to get that first win.
No doubt about it. Again, moments away. There's a breeze here, which we'll take the breeze anytime to get this game underway. But meanwhile, we pause in our Honor America with the playing of our national anthem.
direct your attention to midfield. The captains for today's game, first for Argyl, Rissmiller, number 16 is Gian Grego, and number 72 is
As they will also have some honorary captains as well. And, we'll listen in once they get these guys straight.
Number 55, Kenny Steckel, and number 75, John Gillen. And again, this is the 100th meeting.
So again, 100 meetings, 102nd meeting, 100 straight meeting. We want to thank Tim Egan and also Jeff Brininger. All right, let's listen in here.
Today's game. First, for the Green Knights. Argyl is proud to have Anthony Graziano, the class of 2001, and Connor Gum, class of 2012, as their honorary captains in today's game. Connor stands here today also representing his father, Jim Gunn, class of 1980. These three outstanding quarterbacks all left their mark during these defining moments in this rivalry. From 1972 to 1992, the Warriors owned this rivalry, posting a 16-5 record over the Green Knights. In 1978, Argyl entered the game on a six-game losing streak. Jim Gum and his teammates broke this spell and beat the Warriors the next 2 years, 26-6 and 7-6, and were crowned Colonial League champions. Jim passed for 1,075 yards and 14 touchdowns, and Argyl was once again a respected football program. The Green Knights owned the next decade of the series from 93 to 2004, winning 11 of 12 games. Anthony Graziani and his teammates rolled over Wilson all 4 years and were crowned undefeated Colonial League champs in 98 and 99. Anthony had an outstanding career and was only the third player in Pennsylvania history to both rush and throw for 1,000 yards in the same season. He also held the following Argyl High School records: 1,789 passing yards per season, 19 TD passes per season, 36 TD passes in a career, 3,056 total offensive yards in a season, and 5,584 total yards in a career. The Warriors had some outstanding seasons from 2005 to 2009, winning 6 consecutive winning seasons in a row. The Green Knights needed to break this streak, and they did. Only this time it was Connor Gum and the Green Knights leading the way. His Argyl team started a winning streak of their own in 2010, which continued for the next 7 years. Connor threw for 1,131 yards, and Argyl was crowned undefeated Colonial League and District 11 champions. Jimmy, Anthony, and Connor each were Argyl captains, Lehigh University grads, and were natural leaders both on and off the field. They each played quarterback and defensive back and were respected immensely by their teammates. Each shared first team All-League, All-Area, and/or All-State honors and were undefeated Colonial League champs. Lastly, each has the utmost respect and pride in playing for Argyl and realize that today they are not only representing themselves and their teammates, but also every Green Knight football player that has taken part in this great rivalry with Wilson Area High School. Please join me in congratulating Argyl's honorary captains.
Good job, the honorary captains for Argyl, and now the Warriors captains are being introduced.
Corky Blake. Corky Blake is a 1978 Wilson Area High School graduate. He was a 2-year starter in football and baseball, lettered in basketball, and was president of the National Honor Society. The highlight of his football career was intercepting a pass for a touchdown from his defensive end position in a seasoning opening route of Notre Dame in 1977. Corky went on to graduate from Moravian College in 1982 with honors in journalism and political science. For more than 40 years, Corky has worked as a sports writer in the Lehigh Valley, mainly for the Express Times and LehighValleyLive.com. Earlier this year, Corky was inducted into the Lehigh Valley Sports Hall of Fame as the John Kunda Memorial Media Award winner. Corky resides in Williams Township with his wife Kim, also a 1978 Wilson grad, and they have 3 children, all Wilson graduates. Josh, the class of 2004, Caitlin, the class of 2006, and Jonathan, the class of 2011. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a nice round of applause for Corky Blake. And now, ladies and gentlemen, our second honorary captain, Mr. Ray Mosby. Ray is a 2010 Wilson Area High School grad. Ray was a 3-year starter for the Warriors on both sides of the ball. Ray earned first team All-Colonial League, first team All-Area, and second team All-State his senior year. Ray also was a starter in the McDonald's Football Classic All-Star Game. Ray went on to graduate from Lock Haven University, where he participated in football and graduated with a degree in criminal justice. Ray is in the United Steelworkers Union currently as a laborer and resides in Bethlehem. Ladies and gentlemen, please, let's welcome back Ray Mosby. And again, nice round of applause for both Corky Blake and Ray Mosby, our honorary captains, for this, the 100th meeting of the Green Knights and the Wilson Warriors.
Great recognition there of all those players, and man, I've been around for a while. I broadcasted all those games except Corky's. I didn't do Corky's. Right? Corky, I've known him a long time as well. Good look, those guys, and Anthony Graziani as well, and Anthony Graziani, part of JFR Salvage. We'll hear from them in a little bit because they've been part of our sponsors here at D11 Sports, doing a great job. But it's an exciting matchup between these two teams. We expect it. You said last year went south quick on the Green Knights. They're hoping to change things. Again, for Wilson, it's restarting really, but they got a new coach, new philosophy, new everything.
Exactly. Just a quick to talk about those captains, having the opportunity to coach against 3 of them in different stints, different places. Each of them was a headache as a defensive coach throughout my career. But you're right. I think Penn Argyl comes in with the leadership, with the experience, I think, more than Wilson does. Wilson returns experience up front, but they had to replace all their skill position players. So we're going to see kind of like a flip of the script from last year in terms of how they're coming into the game. But now it's just a matter of who can weather that storm the longest, stay calm, and then just continue to produce throughout the game.
St. Luke's is the region's largest sports medicine provider, covering more than 200,000 student enrollment and 40,000 student athletes in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, covering 8 counties and providing the most comprehensive and advanced treatment for athletic injuries. St. Luke's offers athletic training, orthopedic care, physical therapy, and concussion management, plus sports performance training for individual athletes and teams. During these extraordinary times, you can trust St. Luke's Sports Medicine to provide extraordinary care. All right, we are getting ready to get this one kicked off and underway between Wilson and Penn Argyl, the Green Knights. We'll send this one, and it's Nolan King who has it on the tee. Their normal kicker at a soccer game, not here, the first one. And with that, we bring in our JFR Salvage starting lineups.
And you'll see for Wilson, this is going to be a revamped offensive group other than the guys up front. I think when you look at the offensive line, those are the guys that are going to have to keep this team afloat. Until these skill position players get the cohesion and get their feet under them and becomes more comfortable, that offensive line led by Ken Steckel and John Gillen, those are going to be the guys that have to hold down the tent.
We'll take a look at the defense after this play as we are underway from Wilson, the 2022 football season. They start things off at the 40, so great field position, and they will go for the reverse, and that ball is loose, and just like that, Penn Argyl, Gian Grego comes up with it, and they'll have great field position, the ball at the 28-yard line.
And thanks to our other cohort down on the field, Dave Micah, Gian Grego, he comes up with that turnover. He's the leading tackler in District 11 returning this season.
So Dave gave you some information. When they get back on defense, take a look.
And here's the defense we had there. Again, Coach Mutton talked about their defensive front, but also that linebacking group led by Gian Grego, who just recovered that fumble. They're going to be the leaders of this team.
So first turnover and the ball at the 27-yard line. Rissmiller takes the high snap, and they'll go to the ground, and not much there. Starting lineups are brought to you by JFR Salvage, a full-service scrap metal recycling company Serving the Lehigh Valley for nearly 50 years, JFR Salvage will pay you cash for all grades of scrap metal, including iron, steel, copper, brass, aluminum, stainless, and junk vehicles. Competitive pricing and superior service are just a few reasons you choose JFR Salvage for your scrap metal needs. Please visit their website at jfrsalvage.com or one of their locations in Wing Gap or East Stroudsburg. So a pickup of maybe a half yard as the ball sits at the 27-yard line. Again on the ground and powering forward, despite getting tackled initially, maybe getting a couple yards, was Chris Kessler.
In Penargil, behind Chris Kessler, or behind that offensive line, Coach Mutton really singing their praises. Talked about the two offensive guards for them, Jacob Geary and Cale Grimm, committing themselves in the offseason to really get themselves a little bit bigger and try to get stronger to help this offensive line.
I actually thought he got more than a yard. They'll call it a yard. So third down as the Green Knights try. We'll see our first passing attempt by Rissmiller. Here they flush it down and take it back. So great defensive effort flying on in there. A couple players, including Chris Weston.
Yeah, Chris Weston going to have double duty playing defensive end for Wilson as well as quarterback. Just a lot of time. Credit the Wilson secondary on that play, keeping their guys covered and not giving Rissmiller anyone to throw to. You figure they're going to look for Tominski early in this game, and Wilson knows that, so they're going to shade coverage over to him and force Penargil to beat you with another player.
There you go, trips far side. Fourth down and 15. They have to get to about the 17-yard line. Rissmiller assesses. Now he's going to get taken down again. Oh, making an impact real quick is Weston.
And again, it's just too much time for the offensive line to hold the Wilson defensive line rush. You have to credit, too, talk about the coaching staff. Wilson defensive ends are coached by Terrence Maynor, who was a great one here just a few years ago for Wilson.
Support for D11Sports.com Game of the Week comes from Michael R. Glovis, financial advisor at Morgan Stanley in Easton. For all your investment needs, call Michael R. Glovis at 610-559-6380, located at 101 Larry Holmes Drive, Suite 301 in Easton, Pennsylvania. Morgan Stanley Smith Barney, LLC, member SIPC. So from the 37, the Warriors back on the attack. And they'll go on the ground. Again, nothing there for the second time. First guy in was Terrell Estes.
Terrell Estes, you look at the starting lineups for both teams, you don't see many freshmen. Terrell Estes, just a freshman, getting the start for Penargil. He reads that from the backside linebacker play, sees the zone read, the zone in the pool, and just fills the gap and makes a tackle in the backfield.
So inside 10 to play. Weston, and I was going to say a long count. Was it too long?
I think we're getting a false start on the far side of the offensive line.
Dead ball foul, false start against the Warriors. A 5-yard penalty. Brings up a second down.
Matt, you're adding a little extra to your repertoire these days as a PIAA official. How about that?
Got that start last week in the scrimmage. We actually did 2 scrimmages last Saturday. It's not as easy as it looks. Coming from the sideline, going onto the field now, there's a lot of adjustment that needs to take place. And not only being able to look at certain things and not being able to see everything is a real challenge at times.
Second down and 16 from the 30. Weston looking to throw, just flares that one. Incomplete. Only question I'm going to ask you. Did the officials yell? Did the coaches yell at you as an official?
Not at all.
Really?
Not at all. The coaches were very calm.
So they were nicer than you were when you were a coach?
Yes, they were.
Okay.
And that was the biggest thing. Everybody say, become an official. And I was always, I couldn't deal with someone like myself. I wouldn't be able to deal with myself yelling at me. But no, they were great. Obviously, know a lot of them, so that helps out a little bit.
Third down and 16. Weston finds a little seam and almost gets back to the original line of scrimmage. There'll be a fourth down coming up.
And Colton Keat coming in on the tackle at the linebacker spot. You're looking at Coach Fleming calling the offense for Wilson, just trying to keep it safe there. Third and long, you really don't have a play in the playbook for that. So let's take something safe and let's go ahead and just work it up, punt it away, try to flip that field position.
Back deep is Damian Tyminski for the Green Knights.
Dare I say this is eerily the same as last year, where that punt return that Gillen had for a touchdown.
What about this boot?
Wow.
What about this boot? All the way down to about the 5-yard line. You'll take that anytime you want. Anderson, Luis June
And
does his magic.
He was kicker last year for them. Also, as putting the rosters together, he's playing some other positions as well, playing some offense and defense. But, yes, what a great kick. Definitely flipping the field position.
Let's take a look at the starting lineups again here for the Green Knights, brought to you by JFR Salvage.
And as we said, we talked about the skill position players, Rissmiller, Kressler, Grego, and Tominski. They're coming back. But it's going to be the group up front. It's going to be Jacob Pierce-Strisky.
Okay.
I give my best shot at that. I give my best shot at it.
Pastrakowicz.
All right, Pastrakowicz, Geary, Kasparnova. I want to see Braden with the microphone on.
Yeah, well,
we got to get him live mic during the games.
Okay, so Braden Krasnopera is one of our student reporters. He is the center. He's wearing number 71. I think he begged to be mic'd up. It wasn't going to happen. So the ball starts at the 10-yard line for Rissmiller. We'll take a look at the defense here for the Wilson Warriors.
And we've got a good look at the Wilson defense so far, especially defensive end. Defensive end Chris Weston as one of them. And then you have John Gallon coming from the other side. But it's been the secondary, really, that has been holding this passing attack under wraps so far early in this game.
So a loss of a yard. I believe we still have not gotten a first down yet, either team, because there is all defense so far. So right around the 7-minute mark. Rissmiller with all the time in the world for a second, and then a hand comes flying in.
And this is a tough one, Al. This is definitely a tough play.
John Gillen, I believe.
John Gallon gets the sack, but they're going to get him for a horse collar, I believe. Here you get a look at that defensive line. Chris Weston, Ken Steckel, Seth Kissel, John Gallon, they've been the guys that have been getting the pressure on Rissmiller. But you have to credit that secondary. Secondary not giving him anywhere to throw the ball. But as I said, it looks like we're going to get a horse collar on the sack, unfortunately, and that's a tough one. You're reaching out, trying to grab anything you can. You know, he was not trying to grab him inside the collar, but just so happens that he does.
15-yard penalty.
Now they'll give
him close.
Argyl
Yeah. Give
new
him some
life
good
there.
yardage.
Second down and 4.
So second down and a long 3 here for the Green Knights. They'll go 4 receivers, 2 split on either side. Rissmiller, little flare pass right across to Damian Tominski. And Tominski with a New York Life first down.
And you could see it from up here. You could see that play start to develop. It was just a matter of time. How will Penn Argyl get the ball to Damian Tominski? And early on, everything seemed to be down the field, down the field, down the field. I think Coach Mutton and his offensive staff, Connor Gumm, need to come back and look at this and kind of go short. Try to get some quick passes out. Let these guys play in space.
On the ground they go. Starting lineups again. We're brought to you by JFR Salvage, a full-service scrap metal recycling company serving the Lehigh Valley for nearly 50 years. JFR Salvage pay you cash for all grades of scrap metal, including iron, steel, copper, brass, aluminum, stainless, and junk vehicles. Competitive pricing and superior service are just a few reasons you choose JFR Salvage for your scrap metal needs. Please visit their website at jfrsalvage.com or one of their locations in Wind Gap or East Stroudsburg. So second down. And that one just skips right through the hands of Ian Keat.
And I think that's where Penn Argyl has the opening. They have to continue to look to get that ball out in the short area, the short 5-yard wing area, to allow their players to just get some blocks in space and run in space. I mean, that ball just goes right through his hands, but he had a lot of room out there with Tominski on the lead block.
Approaching the 5-minute mark And a 3rd down and 10. And they'll get Tyminski. A short pickup right about to the 35-yard line. Talking about Keith, Colton, and Evan, Coach said the surprise really for those. More in the action. Last year they were in the mix, but not as much. Now you're two-way starters and really, taking a toll and not just being one of those role players anymore.
Absolutely, and that's where I think for Penn Argyl to be successful today, they need some of those secondary players to step up. Everybody's going to key on Tyminski offensively. They're not going to let him get free deep down the field. You're going to need a guy like Keith, a guy like their other receiver, Alex Moser. They're going to need those guys to kind of step up and carry some of the load today and then show that you can't just key on one guy.
Wilson leads this all-time series 53-44-4. Looking ahead for these two teams, the Green Knights will get Mahanoy area on the road, then Northern Lehigh at Northwestern in the next couple games. For the Wilson Warriors, they will be at Palisades next week, then get Saucon Valley and Lehighton, both here at home at Smith Field. We will be back here at Smith Field against Pottsville on October the 15th. So I say lack of offense right now, but really good defense. If you're looking at Wilson right now, Fleming's really got that defense rolling.
Yeah, I think it's the defense for both teams that are going to be the strengths of these teams.
Toss to the far side.
Wilson's pass is complete to Ian Feckety.
So Ian Feckety with his first catch of the afternoon.
And Coach Fleming talked about Ian Feckety having to be able to catch the ball and help the offense move. They're just, again, looking at what Wilson did there, just get the ball out in the flat. There was a little 2-yard pass, but he had a step on the defender. He was able to turn it upfield and make it into a nice gain to put it 2nd and short.
Roll down to the 4-minute mark. Still looking for our first game of the first score of the afternoon. Weston. That one a little bit too far in front of Feckety. They bring up a 3rd down.
Very similar to play, just a quick square out, 3-step drop for Weston, just a little bit overthrown. But again, Feckety had a step on the defender, and if he can just connect on those, that's going to help move the sticks for Wilson. And like Coach Fleming was looking for, it's going to help them maintain those drives.
A great afternoon for football here at Smith Field. I want to thank Jeff Breininger, the athletic director here. Weston's going to take it himself, and Weston's going to push forward. Be short of the 1st down by about maybe 2 yards or so, and bring up a 4th down.
Stop again made by Craig.
And that time you have to look at Weston and hope you talk to him. He kind of got up there and they moved a little bit early. The receivers were out here. You could tell they were not going to be part of the play, so you want to give it time. Make sure the defenders can't view anything like that where you can just say, oh, it's a run play, we can commit in here, and then take away those receivers. But unfortunately, Weston comes up limping after that play. He's on the sideline.
And that you could ill afford to have. The punt, will this be fielded? Yes, it will be by Tyminski. Tyminski from the 40. Tyminski moving upfield and gets up to about the 45-yard line. So great field position to start things off here for Penn Argyl.
Completely different than the last series where it was inside the 10. Here, 45. So this is the second series Penn Argyl is going to start offensively in good field position.
D11sports.com. Thanks Michael R. Glovis, financial advisor at Morgan Stanley in Easton, for his sponsorship of the Game of the Week. For all your investment needs, call Michael R. Glovis at 610-559-6380, located at 101 Larry Holmes Drive, Suite 301 in Easton, PA. Morgan Stanley Smith Barney, LLC, member SIPC. So a timeout on the field. And Matt, 3 minutes, right about there, first quarter. Your thoughts of so far, what we're seeing?
I think it's what we thought we'd see. It's just a defensive struggle right now. I think give the coaching staffs a little bit of time. With the different schedule, you lose that second scrimmage. So, usually as a coach, you had that first scrimmage. You could see what you had and what improvements you need to make. You make that, you go into that second scrimmage, you kind of tweak things. This is really that second scrimmage. They're still working on tweaking out some things. It rushes everything. But you're seeing where what adjustments can they make early on? So as we end this first quarter in 3 minutes, the key to this game, I think, is going to be which coaching staff can make the adjustments quicker.
We talked about you going to officiating, and your son is now gone from Easton and now playing football. How excited are you about that?
I'm really excited. Not that he's gone from Easton. More excited that he's starting his next chapter in his life. Was actually out in Lancaster at Franklin and Marshall College last night for his first scrimmage. So it's a different environment, different group. He loves the kids he's playing with. He loves the coaching staff. I'm just happy for him in the placement that he's in.
When do they kick off their season?
They kick off first Friday night ever at Shattuck Stadium at Franklin and Marshall next Friday night against Lebanon Valley.
Nice. First down and 10 from the 45. And they'll try on the ground. And that was Kessler, but he had nowhere to go as Wilson's defense instantly makes a play.
And you can credit Weston on that play. He's making his statement here as a defensive end. They're running a wide zone. It's a pull read. It's a pull or give read by the quarterback, and Weston just gets him in no man's land where the quarterback's wrong no matter what he does. He gets a lot of penetration and then makes the tackle for a loss, pushing Penn Argyl's offense back.
Well, he's really making his presence known here, and we're only in the first quarter. Rissmiller now at midfield. Toss, near side, even Keat. And Keat will gain some positive yards to bring up a manageable third down and long situation, but maybe 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9.
And that's what I'd like to see both teams do a little bit more of. I think, we're not seeing anything open up down the field, not to mention the defensive lines are bringing so much pressure on these quarterbacks. Get the ball out quickly in space. You see how off the defenders are playing. Get the ball out in space. Get a lead blocker. It's just like a running play just out wide.
I was going to make a comment about something I'm not going to because yesterday I did and the game went longer, so I'm not going to go with that. There was miscommunications on that play between Tominski and Keat.
And that's rule number one for wide receivers. If the ball's in your vicinity, you try to catch it. You don't think it's for somebody else. You just go after it, and that's going to be something that they'll talk to Evan Keat about and get him to understand.
So another 4th down here for Penn Argyl. There's been only one first down, I believe, the entire game. That one, nice catch on the sideline, but that's about it.
Yeah, unfortunately, just overthrows his receiver on the sideline. Had the first down, unfortunately, just overthrown. So the turnover on downs, still struggling to get something going both sides.
So we sit there at about 1 minute and 43 seconds and still looking for our first points. We've seen a lot of defense.
And we've seen very few first downs also.
Yeah.
Getting a good look at both teams' punt teams.
So getting back to Pestrakowitz, me and my whole family were trying to figure that all week. And I tried to say it, and I said it exactly like you to Coach Mutton. He goes, yeah, not even close. I said, all right. On the ground. And a run by Nathan King.
Nathan King on the carry.
That's the first time we see Nathan King run the ball. Gets a nice gain. Able to open up a hole up front, but then tackled by just the hole closes down quickly by that Penn Argyl linebacking crew.
2nd down and 7.
Rolling the clock down to about a minute or so. Defense, defense, defense so far this afternoon at Smith Field. Weston, low snap, has to pick it up. And he gets taken down immediately on the play. So really didn't have a chance as the defense came in. It was Grego once again.
And that time Grego doing what Estes did earlier from the backside outside linebacker position, sees the guard pull away. He immediately blitzes that gap that he vacated and able to make the play in the backfield. You'll see him come from the bottom of the screen. Grego, as soon as he sees that right guard pulls, he's filling in, and he's fitting that right in the backfield. Great read, great coaching on the Penn Argyl staff.
Likely the last play of quarter number 1. It's a 3rd down and 10 from the 41. Weston, here comes the pressure. That one gets tipped, and that one's incomplete. Chris Kessler.
And you had to say something, didn't
I know,
you?
right?
You had to say something.
See, this is what happens. I open my mouth and opposite things happen. Yesterday, the first quarter at Palmerton was about 23 minutes. The second quarter took an hour. Then there was a lot of cramping in the third and fourth, and we were there until 3:30 in the morning. That's what it felt like anyway. And then it started raining at the end.
Well, there's a possibility we might have an offensive play have to take place now
that's
to end this quarter.
See? I shouldn't have said anything. So 4th down and 10. And June punts this one out. And picked up by Tominski. Tominski still on his feet. And Tominski will be taken down on the play. And we will.
1.3 seconds.
Stop was made by Jackson Millen.
I know you were watching that. You were looking for the clock management there. You were hoping that clock would go. I know what you were looking at. So, are we okay to say one more play here at the end of the quarter? You good with that? You confident?
I think so. I think we'll be okay.
Glad you could join us here on D11Sports.com. Our game of the week presented by St. Luke Sports Medicine. Al DiCarlo alongside Matt Avancho, Dave Micah down on the field. Braden Krasnopera is the starting center for the Green Knights. Chase Eller joining us from Wilson. And Pearson Yulsis from Nazareth on the sidelines. Through one. No score. Penn Argyl, Wilson. You're watching our D11Sports.com game of the week presented by St. Luke Sports Medicine. Back after this.
Chris Kessler on the carry.
St. Luke's knows that trust is the foundation of all relationships. It's earned over time. It's the type of relationship you should have with your healthcare team. While our healthcare needs are different, one thing is constant. St. Luke's is focused on building a lasting relationship with you, earning your trust and putting your well-being first. When it comes to great healthcare, trust is essential. St. Luke's, the care you trust, now more than ever.
Interested in a medical career? Consider St. Luke's if you want to be a doctor or a nurse. Based in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, we are the area's only 4-year medical school and the largest provider of medical residencies and fellowships, and the country's longest-running school of nursing, trained at an organization that is nationally recognized in education, patient care, and quality. See why we are ranked the nation's #1 teaching hospital. Where you train matters. The best doctors and nurses train at the best hospitals. St. Luke's University Health Network.
We are back as we get ready to start quarter number 2. For over 175 years, New York Life has been helping families and businesses with their life, disability, and long-term care planning needs. Whether you have current coverage in place or in need of reviewing your options, please contact their office in Allentown to find the right plan to fit your needs. Call New York Life at 610-616-4430 today. So we start quarter number 2, looking for our first points of the afternoon. And it'll be a 2nd down and 6. And taking that one right across midfield down to the 49-yard line is Brad Rissmiller for the New York Life first down.
Yeah, it was a nice misdirection. Kessler got the ball to end that first quarter. They run this very similar play, except Rissmiller pulls it, keeps it himself, and able to pick up a nice first down to get the Penn Argyl offense back in positive territory.
All right, Matt, after this play, get your thoughts of the first quarter and what you've seen to this part. Obviously, starting the second quarter, good really start for Penn Argyl. So at the 48, Rissmiller, Tominski. Tominski has some space on the far side, makes the turn, and then lost the football. That is right close to that first down marker.
It's going to be a close first down, but again, I like how they're trying to keep the ball short right now. Keeping the ball, getting it out to their receivers. You have the running game, and then you have that extension of the running game in those quick, short passes. So just talk a little bit about the first quarter, just about, I think each team trying to feel each other out, trying to figure out, what are they going to go for, what are they going to try to do, how are they going to try to exploit. I think the big picture here is going to be Wilson's offense. Can they get something rolling? I think that's the biggest thing. Their defense is playing tough, but that was the whole thing of last year as well. The defense played tough, and it just couldn't get things going offensively at times.
On the ground they go, and they'll get the first down and a little more on the run by Chris Kessler, another New York Life first down. So good drive here for the Green Knights.
And I'll bring up this point, but it affects both teams actually, so it's not really an advantage to either. both teams play a number of guys both ways, especially on the offensive and defensive line. There's a lot of guys playing offense and defense. And, you start to see with this heat, Saturday afternoon, where does that start to wear on you? And the conditioning comes into a factor.
The ball all the way down to the 33-yard line at the 10-minute mark.
Somebody better, that's a lateral.
That is indeed a lateral. That was as close as you're going to get. Flying through the
Wow.
ball was Jaden Fields. I don't know if the wind took that a little bit as well.
I'm not sure, but if there was maybe 6 more inches of sideline, he has that.
So not only does he not get it, he walks off limping, and hopefully it's just
it's just a cramp. It looks like it might be a cramp the way he was limping. It's unfortunately, as Dave, Micah, and I being at East Stroudsburg last week doing a scrimmage and him covering a scrimmage, you saw what can happen on any given play where one of the players, a top recruit in the state, goes out with an injury that affects the entire season for him. It's your hope is just a cramp.
From the 45, Rhys Miller pumps, middle part of the field, in traffic, and still connects. Another New York Life first down, and in business inside the 30, down to the 28 on a great catch by Grego.
And really that just becomes a single-man read for Rhys Miller, to have the pump fake out, trying to draw the underneath coverage up, and then you're just reading the one safety. Does he shade towards Tominski or does he shade towards Grego? He shades towards Tominski, comes to Grego, picks up the first down.
Looking to throw again, and it's Tominski. And Tominski we saw a year ago as well. He's really got a lot of talent. His sister Maddie was one of our D11 Sports student reporters as well up there at Penn Argyl. He is just, he connects and he gets things done.
And, he's a big kid and still only a junior, so he still has a lot of room to grow and become that dominant wide receiver. I like how they're starting to get the ball out to him again, just like a 5-yard pass, a little hitch route. Get the ball out to him, let him do the rest on his own, especially with that off coverage from the Wilson secondary.
From the 15, straight snap. And tackled on the play by Weston.
Nice little change up by Penn Argyl, going to a double tight set, putting Grego at the direct snap quarterback position with Kessler in the backfield and just running straight at the Wilson defense.
Second down and 8.
So they can get a first down without a touchdown as the ball sits at the 9-yard line. Direct snap again. Here's Grego trying to find that corner. And there's the touchdown. So a 9-yard touchdown by Grego.
And Grego, an athlete in himself, 5'9", 190 pounds, short but put together and muscular and strong. If you get a D-back coming up on him, you cannot go upper level with him. You have to go down at his legs. You have to try to take him out.
So Gian Grego, 9-yard touchdown, first points of the 2022 season. Now they will line up for 2, and I'll tell you why in a second. Looking to throw that one, and they'll get it over to Tominski. So Tominski from Kessler.
Kessler's pass is good for the 2-point conversion. With 8:16 remaining in the second quarter, it is now the Green Knights
8-0 Penn Argyl. Again, their kicker, Tround Irwin Hill, is out today because he has a soccer game. So when we talked to Coach, and he said he'll probably wait on that. Take a look at the touchdown.
And you're going to see, it's everybody lined up to the left, everybody guard pulling, Cale Grimm, and then Grego, and you can't come up high. You see the defensive back for Wilson try to come up and tackle him high and just bounce off of him. He's able to get behind his pads and explode into the tackle and then just finish off in the end zone. It's a nice drive put together by Penn Argyl. We'll see, as we talked about the Wilson offense, can they come back and can they match that, with about, 8 minutes left in this second quarter. They need to do something to try to get something offensively going.
St. Luke's is the region's largest sports medicine provider, covering more than 200,000 student enrollment and 40,000 student athletes in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, covering 8 counties and providing the most comprehensive and advanced treatment for athletic injuries. St. Luke's offers athletic training, orthopedic care, physical therapy, and concussion management, plus sports performance training for individual athletes and teams. During these extraordinary times, you can trust St. Luke's Sports Medicine to provide extraordinary care. So 8-0 is your score. And Wilson will get the football back right at the 15-yard line. That's where they'll field things. And that was actually Weston that picked it up. And they'll get up to about the 25, 28-yard line.
I still haven't seen Jaden Fields back on the field yet for Wilson. He's still under a tent. Looks like he's getting his ankle wrapped. Hopefully he'll be able to make a chance, or be able to come back here and get back in the game.
Yeah, so not really a cramp. It looks like it was something that got tweaked there.
And that's a two-way starter for Wilson, a senior two-way starter. You know, if he can't, and this is what happens at smaller schools, if he can't go, now you're going down the list. You're looking at a junior, sophomore, potentially a freshman, having to get in there and give you meaningful minutes.
Timeout here for the Green Knights. And it comes with 8:10 on the clock. Today's game brought to you by Michael R. Glovis, financial advisor at Morgan Stanley, located at 101 Larry Holmes Drive, Suite 301 in Easton. For all your investment needs, call Michael R. Glovis at 610-559-6380. Morgan Stanley Smith Barney, LLC, member SIPC. Today's game also brought to you by Cliff Lewis Experience at Caldwell Banker Hertside, ranked as the #1 real estate team in Pennsylvania, #2 nationwide. The Cliff Lewis Experience can help you with all your real estate needs, serving the Lehigh Valley, Berks, Bucks, and Montgomery counties. Visit their website at clifflewisrealtor.com or call 610-936-9960 to speak to an agent today. JFR Salvage is a full-service scrap metal recycling company serving the Lehigh Valley for more than 50 years. JFR Salvage will pay you cash for all grades of scrap metal, including iron, steel, copper, brass, aluminum, stainless, and junk vehicles. Competitive pricing and superior services are just a few reasons you choose JFR Salvage for your scrap metal needs. Please visit their website, jfrsalvage.com, or one of their locations in Wind Gap or East Stroudsburg. Or if you're here and you're listening right now, you can just go see Anthony Graziani because he's one of the honorary captains out there somewhere. From the 27, Weston will put that one on the ground. And to talk to Coach Fleming, about Weston, more of a runner right now than he is a passer. That being said, he knows he can throw the football. You know, I asked him about his days at Allen. He goes, I don't really even talk about that. We just try to see, you know, how he fits into our system and where he can go. But he likes the way he plays. He's a difference maker on both sides of the ball.
Exactly, and I think we saw that already defensively. Now it's just a matter of can we see what he can do offensively and to kind of jumpstart this Wilson offense. That's been 2 carries by Rooks, and now he comes up limping.
Rooks on the carry.
Yeah, so A.J. Rooks from Coach Fleming, out of the players that he highlighted, he said Rooks has really surprised him these days. You know, he's out last year or so, you know, but he feels like he could be a really big part of this. And now you see him in that St. Luke's tent, and hopefully he's just in there and out of there real quick.
Exactly. I mean, that's another two-way starter offensively and defensively that Wilson loses. You know, and now your special teams, the offense and defense, nonetheless, you know, you just need to keep juggling people in.
3rd down and a long 3 from the 35 for the Warriors, down 8-0. Weston delivers that one, and the pop at the end. Boy, they really gave him forward progress for a New York Life first down, right at the 40-yard line. Our angle is different. It looked like maybe got popped before there, but
yeah, Rodney Bronson, he's the one coming in, and he's playing a lot more with the injury to Jaden Fields. Nice little screen pass. They bring Fekete in motion. He goes out, makes a lead block for Bronson, but the defensive secondary for Penn Argyl comes up and closes that in quickly, but not until Bronson picks up the first down.
On the ground, ball bobbled momentarily. How about that defense? Just flying through the football. And, I mean, I don't know if you heard the guy's name yet before, but he wears number 16. His name is Grego. You've heard of him?
Absolutely. he shot through that hole. And luckily for Wilson, as you said, the handoff was bobbled, and King able to hold on to that and then take on the hit as well.
Grego has certainly done his part to this point. Penn Argyl leading 8-0. They have one timeout remaining. All 3 timeouts for the Warriors with the football. Second down and 11 from the 39. Rolling near side. Here comes some pressure again. That one just stays up there for a while. Who wants it? And that one is going to be taken away by Brad Rissmiller. So Rissmiller, the quarterback, also the D-back, helping his own cause.
And that's tough. You know, you have Weston. He's trying to make a play, rolling to his left. Being a right-handed quarterback, that's hard to get those shoulders turned around to deliver a nice pass downfield. But again, Rissmiller was nowhere near the play. Originally, it was Luis June and Keat in coverage, and they're the two back there battling. And then all of a sudden, Rissmiller comes out of nowhere, undercuts the route, and intercepts it, giving Penn Argyl the ball back.
So a turnover for the Warriors. And Penn Argyl will regroup here with the football at their own 32-yard line. Just over 5 minutes. They've been liking a little toss play to Tominski, and Tominski gains 12 yards for a New York Life first down. I mean, once he get the ball in his hands, he really can. He's a little scrappy and can really push the ball upfield.
Exactly, and you look at that. What happens essentially, you know, you start to play at 11 on 11, but you put the ball out there on the perimeter. You have another wide receiver lead blocking. It's a 2-on-2 play in space. You know, you have a blocker and a blocker, and Tominski has to beat one guy one-on-one, or at least move the chains forward.
From the 43, here comes the pressure. Rissmiller, that ball gets tipped. And incomplete as Moser almost came back and got that football.
And you again see that defensive rush by Wilson, not giving Rissmiller. They try to double pump, little hitch and go on the outside. Rissmiller just did not have enough time. Credit the Wilson defensive rush for that.
And the Warriors next week will be on the road at Palisades. And the Green Knights will be at Mahanoy area. Second down and 10 from the 43. Again, they'll go far side. And weaving through traffic for a New York Life first down are the Green Knights.
You know what? In all my coaching, you never see an offensive coach ever stay consistent and just run the same play over and over. That same play, just switch personnel, switch sides. That play has been successful, Penn Argyl. Keep running it. They're not doing anything to stop it. Just keep running that play. Get the ball out there in space and have the lead blocker and let them run. I'd like to see them do the same thing this side.
That time it was Evan Keat on the far side. They've gone twice in that direction, and I believe they got Wilson jumping.
Oh, no. They had Penn Argyl.
Wow. Okay. Well,
maybe it was a snap infraction. I mean, that's the only thing I could think of. I didn't see any Penn Argyl lineman move, so maybe the center, maybe he's talking to his mic to us, just twitch the ball.
A timeout on the field. This is going by Penn Argyl, and that's their final timeout with 3:42 on the clock. Glad you could join us here on D11sports.com. Al DiCarlo, Matt Avancho here up top. Dave Micah on the sidelines floating around. Not sure exactly what he's doing, but he's floating around somewhere down there. Braden Crescent-Apera, one of our student reporters, as the center for Penn Argyl. Chase Eller just on board here for Wilson. And Pearson Yulsis from Nazareth coming on board. 102nd meeting, 100th in a row. Wilson leads the all-time series 53-44 and 4. Again, I want to thank Tim Egan from Penn Argyl, Jeff Brininger, the athletic directors, for getting us the information, also the coaches as well. Jeff doing a great job. He's coming on board as the athletic director a year ago for longtime athletic director, who I saw somewhere earlier. I believe I saw Bob Frankenfield. I know I did.
I thought I did too,
right?
when I walked in.
He was somewhere here. I'm telling you. Maybe he's not in view here, but he was there. All right, first down and 15 after the penalty. Rissmiller gains a lot of that back, down to about the 39-yard line, depending on where they mark it.
And it's going to give him a manageable second down after that first down penalty. But you'll see the hole just open up. This offensive line opens up a huge hole for Rissmiller. You see the guard and tackle pull on the counter, and then he's into the second level, and he's a one-on-one with a safety. Offensively, that's what you want to see. You want to see your guy get one-on-one with a safety. Defensively, you don't want him getting past that first level.
So inside 3 minutes, Rissmiller has time, and taking his eyes off the ball for a second and goes incomplete was Alex Moser.
I like those chances. They're taking those short intermediate routes, short to intermediate, getting it out there and trying to get the ball in space. I think that's where both these teams can be really effective. You just have to see Wilson start to put that into their offensive game plan.
You can hear the wind into our mics all of a sudden. Just picked up just a little bit. You're not going to complain, right?
That's not going to play. I don't think anybody up here is going to complain.
No.
At least we're under shade, so that helps too.
Yeah, that definitely helps.
But you touch the tarp above us, and you can feel the heat beating on it.
And I was going to have them take the tarp down for us to get a little bit more breeze. I guess they did the right thing. This ball's still going, by the way.
And it looks like they're going to give them that forward progress and stop it just past the first down.
So another New York Life first down, and it comes with 2:45 on the clock. Again, Penn Argyl without timeouts, but with the new 4 set of downs here, they're in business here as we approach the 2:30 mark.
Exactly. I don't think they need to be in any hurry. I think they get the ball at the second half, so they have a chance to double up here if they can put the ball in the end zone now and then come back out in the second half and do the same. So that time a hitch route out to Tominski. The 5-yard pass, he turns. The D-back's 10 to 11 yards off, so he turns and picks up the next 5 yards. Another first down. If I'm Penn Argyl, I'm Coach Mutton, I'm going to feed Tominski more and more. I'm just going to keep getting that ball out there quickly.
Rissmiller, but before the snap, I think the Warriors may have called a timeout. Is that what I saw?
Yeah, it looks like they called a timeout. So with 2:01 left, trying to regroup to keep Penn Argyl out of the end zone.
Our game day sponsor today is Pints and Pies, your neighborhood pub, featuring multiple different types of pizza.
So 2 minutes on the clock here in an 8-0 game. If you're just joining us here on D11sports.com, only points of the afternoon came at the 8:16 mark. Giangrego, 9 yards. Touchdown run. And then Kessler to Tominski on a toss for 2.
And watch some high-level sports on multiple flat screen TVs. Stop over at Pints and Pies, located at 20.
I'm just going to say Jacob Strakowitz, because I tried to study it the whole week, and I wanted to throw that out there a couple times.
Strakowitz.
And if you can spell that, you get yourself a little bonus.
I can try.
Yeah, you can't look.
For my roster, I had to severely change the font on his name just to fit it in the cell.
To 4. First down and 10. Here is the toss. Grego bounces off a defender, and they'll start looking at that clock a little bit more on the short pickup.
And that's a dangerous pass. You know, it's an out route to the wide side of the field. So fortunately for Grego, he's able to get it and kind of protect himself as he turns into Luis June coming from his cornerback spot to come up and deliver a hit.
6:03.
On the ground, Kessler nowhere to go. Wilson said they had the football, but they say it's down.
I think that was a missed opportunity by Penn Argyl. They had Tominski up to the left, up to the far side of the field, along with wide receiver Chase Kennedy, and the nearest defender was 11 yards away from them.
Nice toss pass. Now at a minute on the clock, and that one's going to be short of the first down.
It's going to be really short, and Wilson trying to change personnel. Penn Argyl trying to get set up.
And they'll go far side, and they'll get the first down, a New York Life first down, so they will move the chains, probably spike it here as they stop the clock momentarily.
Well, it depends. You know, I think you're seeing Rissmiller saying he's going to spike. Yes, clock starts.
Yeah, he doesn't have to. You're right. That one's intercepted.
Oh, that's a dangerous pass.
Right there at the 9-yard line, it's June. And June is going to go 91 yards. Count it there, folks. For the touchdown. Anderson Luis June, 91 yards. It's 8-6. That wakes up the crowd.
And that's a huge turn in this game for Wilson. You know, as I said a few plays ago, Grego was able to turn himself and able to protect himself on that long pass out to the flat to the wide side of the field. You'll see Penn Argyl running the same play here. Rissmiller just gets too much air under it. And our Luis June reads it as he did last time, but this time able to grab the ball, and it's no one near him the rest of the way for the touchdown. Huge turn for Wilson in the Wilson defense.
Okay, Matt, now that I say that, so points have been hard to come by. We'll take a timeout. You're going for two here?
I have to think they're talking about to go for two. I really think they have to. Offense hasn't been able to do much here. You know, this is a short field, 3 yards. You have to think you can get the ball out to somebody, probably thinking some sort of pass play.
So they'll go for two here. Wow. So Anderson Luis Jr., who was the kicker last year, got a little bit more involvement. You know, you leave the Simpsons and, you know, the 4x100, you know, guys that can run. And now all of a sudden he comes up with a huge 91-yard return, interception return. So they will go for two to try to tie it up. Weston.
And you said Weston being a running threat at quarterback.
And that one incomplete, so it'll be 8-6.
Pass is incomplete. 22 seconds remaining in the first half. The score now.
Yeah, that time Wilson not able to set the edge for Weston to allow him a free throw. It was a disruptive throw out to Bronson, you know, a little high. If he's able to bring that down and able to get it to him a little bit sooner, I think he has a chance to catch that and get the two-point conversion. But credit Penn Argyl's defense on getting the pressure, as we've seen both defensive lines being able to get pressure on the quarterback.
You know, you're driving downfield, you got the ball inside the 10-yard line or so, and then just things change on you. And you know what? It takes some momentum into the locker room. As a first-year head coach, that's taking some momentum in the locker room, depending on what happens here in these final 22 seconds.
Now, with 22 seconds left, we haven't seen any explosive play other than the return, other than that interception return. We haven't seen any offense really create a huge explosive play. So it'll be interesting to see what Penn Argyl decides to do coming out in this last series.
Number 4, and Terrell Estes, number 23.
So June, after the 91-yard interception, gets the ball on the kickoff. And there's some space all the way up towards the 41-yard line.
So that gives you a chance. But again, with 14 seconds now, see what Coach Mutton decides to do.
For the Green Knights, ball is at their own 40.
So come out with 14 seconds left. I agree. You don't want to do anything crazy here, but at the same time, with no timeouts, if you run a big play, that can change the dynamics of what you do from here. Thought they were going to look at a throw there. That was Lacey. And Lacey would try to get out of bounds. Well, it gives you maybe one more play.
Damian Kaminsky.
It gives you one more, so you have an opportunity if you get the ball out to Moser or Tominski or Keats and get some blockers in front of them. You have an opportunity to maybe get it down the field, but you have to get in the end zone this play.
Possibly the last play of the first half. Rissmiller pumps and now throws, incomplete. Could have got him there. No flags. They wanted a flag there. It did Moser. And they'll get one more play here with 0.6 seconds left.
Yeah, I don't think anything with a double move is going to confuse any defender at this moment. These defensive backs have to be taught. It's just keep everything in front of you at this moment. Do not let anything behind you, so they're not going to jump on any of that underneath stuff.
Last play of the first half. It's Miller, Tominski. Tominski will follow some white jerseys, and Tominski will finally be taken down.
And he takes a hard hit right there at the end of the half.
So 8-6 is your score. And we'll wait. We'll try to get Coach here. All right, we're waiting for them to get set up. We'll try to get Coach Fleming here as well. So the big play of the game was the 91-yard interception return. And we'll get these guys ready to go real quick. All right, so Mike Fleming's first game, he gets it here, and he's down on the field with Coach. Here we go.
Student reporter for D11 Sports.
And I'm Chase Eller, and we have Coach Fleming here. And how do you feel about how it went this half?
I think we have a lot to fix, and we just got to keep playing. Offensively, we got to get things going, but defensively, I think we're playing our butts off.
And going into this next half, is there anything in particular you want to change?
I think we just need to start to control the line of scrimmage on offense more. I think we're doing a good job on defense, but we got to keep rallying on defense, and offensively, we got to set the tone up front.
All right. Thank you, Coach. Back to you all up there.
All right, guys.
Student leaders include.
All right, guys, thanks a lot down the field. Thanks for Coach Fleming. And your first year coach, he's running 80 miles an hour to get in the locker room. They're saying, Coach, where are you? I was talking. I'm here. You're watching our D11sports.com Game of the Week presented by St. Luke Sports Medicine. 8-6. Penn Argyl back after this.
Pit section leader Amanda Finnegan.
I believe that St. Luke's and our coaches are going to provide the safest and most comprehensive training environment that a student athlete would want. Hopefully they come to us and they leave and there's not another need to be filled. Your daughter or son's team can come to us and we provide it all.
On the ground, go!
The team atmosphere and the team that we have put together of sport performance coaches and athletic trainers is why parents should choose St. Luke's University Health Network for their sport performance needs.
There's not another orthopedic group, sports medicine group, healthcare system in the country that has high-level, degree certified, years of experience.
Bench, hip thrust, or floor, we know what block A is, and then we get another group of 7.
Certified athletic trainers and the performance coaches are assigned to schools and they are there and they are getting the teams and doing team training around sports schedules and the student activity schedules. That's primarily where it's done. We also provide training here, like at this facility. We provide a comprehensive training program that is the most up-to-date training advancements. It's the safest it can be.
We got our A-walks, remember, good.
It's not about gimmicks. Our guys are all educated and have the science behind what they're doing, a rhyme or reason of what they're doing. And we have leadership that will make sure that we're going to provide the best service there is. We actually care about your kids.
Focusing on getting my butt back and my chest up.
People don't know how to use this stuff. And so you need someone to teach them and to help them navigate it in a way that's going to be productive, that's not going to hurt them.
They trust me to put together a workout and they're always asking questions about it, which is great. You know, I wanted them to have that trust that, you know, I'm going to help them succeed on and off the court.
Every coach, every parent, they want what's best for their student. Okay? They want what's going to help them be the best version of themselves. And so that's what we can provide. I don't think there's anything in this area that can rival it.
Yep. Send it, and then pop it in. Yeah. You are using that. You had them on, right? We're hearing that.
Let's have a warm round of applause for the Wilson Warrior Marching Band. Nice performance today.
What's he doing? How about that? That's character. Anybody want to mix? So 8-6 is your score here at Wilson. We are at the half as we get ready to start quarter number 3. Matt, while we have a moment, first things first, your thoughts of the first half?
I think it's two teams, who have a lot of potential and have a lot of returning players that can make some plays, just trying to feel their way out. Like I said, with the second scrimmage off the table, you have to really figure out ways to make this transition quickly, and I think that they're working on that. Both teams are working on it, trying to figure out, where their strengths are going to be, and I think we see some of it, and it's just a matter of what adjustments come out in the second half. That's what I'm really looking forward to seeing.
Let's take a look at some first half highlights. We may have a couple of them here. And, again, a lot of defense, but for the most part, you look at it, obviously we've seen some big plays regardless.
And what will be overshadowed, I think, defensively is going to be the play of Chris Weston and the play of John Gallone from the defensive end spots for Wilson. I think when you talk about Wilson's defense in the first half, you're going to go back to the 91-yard pick six by Luis June. That's what you'll think about. But that defensive front has been playing solid, not giving up any running room for the most part until that last drive. And it's been Weston, it's been Gallone, it's been those guys up front in the middle. Likewise, on the other side of the ball for Penn Argyl, it's been their linebacking crew too. Here was the play, Gian Grego. He's able to come through from the backside linebacker spot, blitz through, and make the tackle for a loss in the backfield. And then just as we thought, late in the game, or late in that half, where it looked like Penn Argyl was going down to score, we had that interception by Luis June, returned 91 yards for the touchdown. But this was Gian Grego's first touchdown when it was 0-0 still in the second quarter. He gets a lot of blocking out in front of him, beats his one-man, one-on-one to the corner, and able to get the touchdown, get Penn Argyl on the board for the season. And, again, we go back to talking about this. We talk about, Penn Argyl's looking for that first win in over a year, and that wears on these kids. These kids were the seniors were sophomores the last time they won a game. So, they're really pressing for that and trying to get that win. This was the interception by Rissmiller coming out of nowhere, able to come undercut that route and then make the interception. That set up Penn Argyl on that last drive. They started to get that running game going with Rissmiller and Kessler. They were pushing the ball down the field with Tominski out on the edge, getting the ball moving, first downs, a couple first downs here and there. And we'll bring up here eventually, we're going to see that pick six that just thwarted the drive. And that would have been a huge drive for Penn Argyl, I believe. Here we get a good chance to see. You have Grego running that flat route. It's a long pass out there into the field side. And as 2 plays later, Luis June was able to come up and nearly get there, but wasn't quick enough. But that time he was. He gets the ball, takes it the rest of the way, makes the interception, and credit Louis June. He's had the two of the biggest plays of the game. He had the huge punt early in the first quarter, and he had the pick six, put Wilson on the board here in 2022.
No question. So 8-6 is your score. We'll take a timeout. When we come back, we'll get you kind of situated and ready for quarter number 3. It is 8-6 in favor of Penn Argyl. You're watching our D11Sports.com Game of the Week presented by St. Luke's Sports Medicine.
I believe that St. Luke's and our coaches are going to provide the safest and most comprehensive training environment that a student athlete would want. Hopefully they come to us and they leave and there's not another need to be filled. We provide it all.
There's not another orthopedic group, sports medicine group, healthcare system in the country that has high-level, degreed certified, years of experience.
On the ground, go!
Every coach, every parent, they want what's best for their student. Okay, they want what's gonna help them be the best version of themselves. And so that's what we can provide. I don't think there's anything in this area that can rival it.
Do you suffer from nagging neck or back pain? The St. Luke's Comprehensive Spine Program can get you better, faster. We're easy to access and don't require a referral. We'll call you, discuss your symptoms, and put you on a path to healing with the most appropriate provider. Call 1-866-ST. Luke's, option 6, or fill out the online form.
Eight 8-6 your score. Al DiCarlo, Matt Avancho, and glad you could join us here on this Saturday afternoon. And Matt, opening week of the high school football season, you saw some scores out there as well. Obviously, in the East Penn Conference, a big game between Parkland and Easton, and it was all Parkland. We saw Emmaus beating Freedom in the East Penn Conference. Some interesting scores there. We had Palmerton last night, and Matt Mahalik was impressive. He had 6 touchdowns, 4 through the air, 2 on the ground. Northwestern with a big win. What did you take out of last night and the first night?
I think it sets up for an interesting week, too. You have Nazareth coming off a big win last night. They played well, and they're going to have Parkland this week. I think that sets up a real nice week, too. Easton, the road doesn't get any easier. They bring in Freedom. Freedom's going to be licking their chops after that loss. They're going to want to come get some action going. Coach Roeder will have them ready to go and make those corrections. Easton's going to have their hands full, I believe. They're going to have to come ready to play in their home opener. But in the Colonial League, I think the big surprise, not even a surprise, just not knowing too much. Wilson Notre Dame, 40. I want to say it was 41-34, I believe.
It's Saucon Valley.
Against Saucon Valley. I think credit Saucon Valley. They graduated a lot in Mahaffey and Sensitz. But you have to credit those kids that are back there, the seniors, and leading them. While they came up on the losing end, I think that's a great barometer for what their season's going to be, and I want to say we have them next week, correct? Yep. Salisbury's going to, they're going to come into that game. That's going to be a great game to see what Saucon Valley can do. But, I really, I have to say it. I believe I say it every year, since it's happened. I really like the merging of the Schuylkill County League and the Colonial League. I think that creates some new matchups and some quality matchups in teams that typically wouldn't play in the regular season but potentially could play in the playoffs.
And we do have them, Salisbury and Saucon, next Friday night. St. Luke's is the region's largest sports medicine provider, covering more than 200,000 student enrollment and 40,000 student athletes in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, covering 8 counties and providing the most comprehensive and advanced treatment for athletic injuries. St. Luke's offers athletic training, orthopedic care, physical therapy, and concussion management, plus sports performance training for individual athletes and teams. During these extraordinary times, you can trust St. Luke's Sports Medicine to provide extraordinary care. Support for D11Sports.com Game of the Week presented by Michael R. Glovis, financial advisor at Morgan Stanley in Easton. For all your investment needs, call Michael R. Glovis at 6380, located at 101 Larry Holmes Drive, Suite 301 in Easton, PA. Morgan Stanley Smith Barney, LLC, member SIPC. Today's game also brought to you by Cliff Lewis Experience at Caldwell Banker Hearthside, ranked as the #1 real estate team in Pennsylvania and #2 nationwide. The Cliff Lewis Experience can help you with all your real estate needs. Serving the Lehigh Valley, Berks, Bucks, and Montgomery counties. Visit their website at clifflewisrealtor.com or call 610-936-9960 to speak to an agent today. For over 175 years, New York Life has been helping families and businesses with their life, disability, and long-term care planning needs. Whether you have a current coverage in place or in need of reviewing your options, please contact their office in Allentown to find the right plan that fits your needs. Call New York Life at 610-616-4430 today. JFR Salvage, a full-service scrap metal recycling company serving the Lehigh Valley for nearly 50 years. JFR Salvage will pay you cash for all grades of scrap metal, including iron, steel, copper, brass, aluminum, stainless, and junk vehicles. Competitive pricing and superior service are just a few reasons you choose JFR Salvage for your scrap metal needs. Please visit their website at jfrsalvage.com or one of their locations in Wind Gap or East Stroudsburg. Again, this meeting is the 102nd and 100th in a row. Wilson leads the all-time series 53-44-4. However, in this game, it's 8-6, your touchdowns and your scoring. Grego, 9 yards. Kessler to Tominski then on a 2-point conversion. And then 91 yards, Lewis June, the missed 2-point conversion.
And looking down on the sideline now for Wilson, Weston comes out still a little limpy. Rooks back on the sideline, fully dressed, but still don't see Jaden Fields for Wilson.
Yeah, injuries. When we talk about them with any coach, Palmerton has 34 players in that range. You know, when you look at the Colonial League, some of these schools have, and you said it before, you can only limit your injuries to a point because of the two-way starters. That's a big difference. Oh, yeah, you lost a player, but you're losing experience, you're losing a player, and you bringing some youth back in there.
Exactly, and I think that's what becomes challenging. You make the decision of bringing somebody young in and forcing them into action, or you move somebody else to a different position. You know, it depends, what you want to look at doing.
Kickoff goes out of bounds.
Reese June sends that one out of bounds. All right, take us in the locker room a little bit, both coaches. I mean, is Coach Fleming jacked up there after that 91-yard interception return? They brought him to 8-6, or is he still really frustrated that they couldn't produce anything else?
I think he has to be jacked up. He has to go in jacked up, and he can get his group motivated and get them ready to come out here and play. Play the second half. Right now, you can look 8-6. You're down 2. It's a 0-0 game almost. Yeah. You're right there in your first game. You have to try to get things going. I think for Coach Mutton, it's a matter of missed opportunities. They had the ball down there and they threw the ball away, and Wilson made a play and flipped the script on them. It's a matter of, can Penn Argyl be smart and go back to just some short things, some simple things to get the ball out in their playmakers' hands.
So underway here in quarter number 3, our D11sports.com game of the week presented by St. Luke's Medicine. And Rissmiller pulls that one out of Kessler's hand and drives forward and gains about 8.5 yards.
And absent from that offensive play was Damian Tominski. Coach Mutton said he had been nursing injuries the entire summer, so be curious to see if something happened to him late in the half. I know he took that shot
right at the end.
At the end, he took a hit. Now we're seeing if that's something that's going to be a factor for them.
So they'll give him 8, second down and 2. The ball at the 42-yard line. And a New York Life first down as they move the chains after a pickup of about 4.5.
It's an interesting approach. See Coach Mutton going to rely on that offensive line, and maybe without the services Tominski, just try to rely on that running game and just slowly, methodically work your way down the field and just eat up clock. If you could get away from it and not have to put Tominski back in, that's great for you.
There's a long way to go in this game. We saw a couple guys getting dinged up, really now on both sides of the ball. And sitting at your own 47. Toss. And that one incomplete by Kessler. We've seen that a couple times today. Again, it's your first game. You're practicing all week with your teammates, and they're knocking you down. They're pushing you over, but they're not drilling you to a fact like when you're in game time.
Yes.
And you're looking a little bit.
And I think you could see there, if you watch that, he's looking up the field. He's taking his eyes off the ball. He's looking to see what he's going to do after he catches the ball rather than just being patient, catch the ball, and then see what you're going to do.
So a second down and 10. Rissmiller again will put it on the ground. Another solid run by Kessler.
And credit that offensive line. We talked about the defensive line of Wilson and what they were able to do early in the half, mostly against pass plays. Now you're seeing Penn Argyl start to run the ball, and they're being able to open up some holes for Kessler and Rissmiller.
Penn Argyl, I'm going to go on a limb, maybe has the longest names on the offensive line by any team. Maybe, between Strakowitz, who has 39 syllables in his name, Krasnopera and Bartholomew. That's a lot of letters. Rissmiller going to try to find a little seam and will be short. Good job of the defense there by the Warriors.
That's a big stop. Forcing Penn Argyl into a most definite, I would believe, punting situation. But again, without their kicker, how does that play into the coaching and the decision-making of Coach Mutton? It looks like they're going to go for it out here. 4th and 5.
Wow, this is a big play, or are they just trying to draw him offside from your own 48? And they did.
They did get him to jump off sides, and that was close because Kessler was leaning in the backfield as well.
Okay, how frustrated does that make a coach?
I mean, you had your opportunity to get them off the field. You had an opportunity to force them to punt. You can't. That's a mistake that you can't have happen. I mean, at this point, that's what we're looking at being the difference in this game, the mistakes.
So now the ball sits at the 43. Kessler, nowhere. Hit by a couple players, including John Gallone.
Yeah, the play just too slow in the backfield. John Gillen able to come in from his defensive end place to make that stop. But we talk about the mistakes. Obviously, Penn Argyl has the huge mistake, the pick six. But it's the other mistakes of Wilson keeping drives alive that have been the difference here in the game, I think, for Penn Argyl.
Second down 10, the ball at the 44. Rissmiller, another drop pass. Grego turning upfield before the ball is in his hand.
I like the play of Mutton there, of Coach Mutton in his play calling with the offense coordinator. Getting Rissmiller out of the pocket, moving the pocket. They pin the defensive line in. You kind of neutralize that defensive rush, but Grego has to make that catch for Penn Argyl.
Third down and 10 at the 44. As Wilson defense trying to get out of this again, and they will. Or I say they will. Again, if you're going on fourth down at the 45, are you going for it here again?
I think they're going. I think they're definitely going to go for it. I don't know necessarily if you try to get them to jump off sides, you maybe take a shot. But with 4th and 7, if you can get them to jump off sides, it gets you in a 4th and 2. But you have to credit Bronson on that play. He was reading Tominski. He saw him take that short slant route, and he knew the ball was going to him.
That's the biggest play of the game right here. 4th down and a long 7. They aren't deep going. The pump by Rissmiller airs it up in between two players, and the catch is made by Alex Moser for a New York Life first down in business in the red zone, the Green Knights.
And a small thing here you look at, you credit Rissmiller. He's going right back at Luis June, who intercepted him for that 91-yard pick six. He goes right back at it again. The secondary of Wilson playing deep. That time they're able to get him to just take one step forward, and then Moser's able to get behind him in a real good placement by Rissmiller. And again, second fourth down conversion on that series.
Ball all the way down to the 15 after a huge fourth down conversion. Grego and Kessler in the backfield. And it's be Grego, and then they'll try to go on the counter and go to the reverse, but Rissmiller nowhere to go. And you're packed in there like sardines. It's sometimes hard to make that play.
It's just the Wilson defense getting a lot of penetration there to kind of disrupt that play and slow it down to where Rissmiller couldn't get around cleanly to get some space.
Second down and 10.
So second down and 10. Here's Grego. And flags everywhere.
2 flags. I think the first one we saw come in from the referee, I believe, is going to be holding. Not quite sure what the second one is. If the second one comes back as a face mask, that's going to work in Penargel's favor. And where it was thrown, it could be either a face mask or a block in the back, I would believe.
I'll talk things over here.
Fortunate for Penargel. They get the holding would have really pushed them back and would have favored Wilson in that case. But fortunately for them, Wilson also face mask, which just repeat the down, so nothing happened there. Line up and play again.
Like even Steven, like
yeah.
we'll do it again.
But the amount of clock Penargel is taking off here is impressive so far.
Grego, the direct snap. And Grego going nowhere. Quickly in was June.
And June learned his lesson that time. He went down right to the legs of Grego. He was not trying to go up top, was not trying to do anything where he had to battle Grego with his strength. It was a nice open field tackle by June. So I would say for Penargel, you have Bronson, who's been shadowing Tominski most of the day. You have to think Penargel is going to look to go Tominski's way.
Rissmiller goes to that corner. Tominski goes up and gets it. 16-yard touchdown.
And honestly, not bad coverage by Bronson. Just a matter of if the ball was a little bit underthrown. Bronson was really nice coverage over top, but underthrown. Tominski able to use his 6'2", 200-pound body to block him out, go up and catch the ball at the high point for the touchdown. Nice drive set up by Penargel here to open the second half. But here you get another look at it. Bronson knows they're coming his way. Tominski's been the go-to guy on those downs. He's back there in coverage, just not able to get in and close off that gap in time to make a stop.
There's an injured Wilson player.
Officials timeout.
So we'll wait on this. Again, is it a cramp or what could it be? But the 16-yard touchdown pass from Rissmiller to Tominski will extend the lead. And now this becomes an very, very interesting either two-point conversion or extra point, knowing that could put you up by 9 or 10. Because if you don't convert, it's still a touchdown and two-point conversion for the Warriors.
Exactly. And, if you're sitting there thinking about it, if you're Wilson, you go back to that first half. Do you second-guess that not kicking it when you return that pick six? And I don't think you second-guess it. I think at that time, in the way the defenses were playing, you're like, okay, I need to tie this up at this point in time. And it's a fine line with coaches. They talk about chasing points, trying to get those two to tie it up. But again, as you said, if they connect on this two-point conversion, you're at a two-score game. Wilson needs to get 2 scores to get back into it. it's an interesting thing that can come up. I think, Wilson obviously, regardless of the points, needs to stop.
Ronnie Bronson is back on his feet. All right, so Green Knights, again, without their kicker who's got a soccer game today.
But at the same time, Coach Button said, Rissmiller takes over those place-kicking duties, and he said he'd be comfortable 30 to 35 yards out. Extra points less than that, you can definitely take that chance.
Grego and Kessler. It's Kessler. And before that play, well, this is going to be an interesting call.
And they're looking at the Wilson sideline. Wilson was in the offsides, yeah. That's big because they had that stopped.
They did. They decided they've been going to Grego the last 3 times. They decided to go to Kessler there, and they were going to stop that one. Again, attempting a 2-point conversion to extend the lead. This time it is Grego, and Grego dives forward and will go in. So a 2-point conversion is good.
And again, self-inflicted mistakes, self-inflicted wounds with Wilson going off sides, encroaching on the first try where they actually did stop him.
Again, last win by Penn Argyl was the last day of October 2 years ago. It was Halloween.
Against Bangor. We were there. We were there.
I remember that day because you scared me.
Yeah.
It was Halloween. I'm not a Halloween guy. 16-6, your score. So Gene Grego, a 9-yard run. Kessler Tominski on a 2-point conversion. That came at the 8:16 mark of the second quarter. And then a 91-yard interception return by Anderson Luis June. Missed a 2-point conversion, 8-6 at the half. And moments ago, Rissmiller to Tominski, 16 yards, 2-point conversion by Grego. It's Penn Argyl 16-6, right at the 5:18 mark.
If potentially Wilson, they get the ball, say they come down and score. I think if you're Coach Fleming, you have a dilemma there. You come down and score 16-12, 2-point conversion. You could win it with a field goal, or you kick the extra point, and in that case, you can tie it with a field goal. I think the smart thing is, if that opportunity arises, to kick the extra point.
And he'll take down Weston.
Weston on the
It'll be Nolan King with the takedown. And now, if you are Wilson, again, there's so much time left in the game, but at the same time, these drives really for both teams, while sometimes they've been going back and forth, they're taking time.
They are.
And it's interesting. They're taking time. So, your possessions really, again, unless things change, we saw that last night in our game, if things change, these possessions are really valuable because you don't know how many you're going to get.
Exactly. I think both teams have the ability for that big play potential. We just haven't seen it yet. And again, with Wilson missing by not having Jaden Fields on the field, that's one of their big play threats.
Yeah, it looks like Fields is on the sideline and will not return from what we gather. And they'll start things on the ground with Nathan King.
There's a lot of players limping out there for Wilson. Hopefully they're just cramps. And you go back and you can see this field, natural turf, obviously, has taken on the effects of the lack of rain that we've had. You can see that it's not as green and it's not as filled in as it usually is. Unfortunately, I think that can play a factor into this with some of those injuries.
I think you may see King come out of it after this play. He's really hobbling there. So they go straight through the middle and gain a few more yards. They'll bring up a third down and about 3.
Oh, first down.
Excuse me, first
Yeah,
down.
first
excuse
down.
Me. I'm looking at the wrong marker as they were moving it. New York Life first down, excuse me. They were dragging it. I was looking where the drag was before.
First down.
See, even Rusty was a little delayed on that. And Rusty's never delayed.
No, not at all.
4 minutes on the clock, 16-6 your score.
So far, good start for this drive for Wilson. 2 plays, first down.
Weston, another drop pass. Again, we've seen a bunch today from both teams. That one's Ian Facchetti, excuse me.
Yeah, you're right, and that's the opportunity that Wilson needed. You know, they need to capitalize on those. You know, and again, just like we saw and just like we said about the Penn Argyl players, just taking his head, looking upfield before he secures the catch, causing that incompletion.
Second down and 10 from the 28-yard line. We have not seen Weston really run so far today. Will that change? He'll try to go far side. That one incomplete as he was looking for Bronson.
No, you're right. We haven't seen them put the ball in his hands too often. Now, is that a game plan situation? Is that well, you know what? He's playing a lot of defense. He's been hit a lot in the passing game. So it could have been a change up. Maybe they wanted to run him more, but then decided against it. But you can't, if you're Wilson, you can't have this drive stall, because if you have to punt this back to Penn Argyl with their focus on the running game right now, I think you're essentially no more series for you offensively in the third quarter.
Weston to throw, and that time looked like he had it, and then there was a stick there by Moser. Not sure if that popped out before the stick or not. Heard some footsteps.
All around, just a fantastic play. Weston hangs in the pocket, delivers a nice pass out to Bronson. You get a good look at our replay. You know, Weston, he feels the pressure coming in, steps forward, nice ball out to Bronson, and Alex Moser just delivers the blow. Delivers the blow to disconnect him from the ball, and a great series on defense by Penn Argyl, other than those 2 plays on the first down.
This one gets a positive roll. Tominski's just going to let that one float in. All right, so we said, okay, so there was no damage done there by Wilson, but they took time off the clock. Didn't as much as usually take, but it goes from 5:18 to 3:27. And now, all of a sudden, it's a 10-point game. 10-point game here today feels like it's a 21-point game.
Exactly. I think it's a lot. You know, it's especially – I'll hear the officials giving them a water break. Officials timeout, get them water. Smart call, especially in the heat today.
What's the ruling on there? Since
There's no ruling. It's a you know, the official can make that decision based on heat, humidity,
right.
You know, taking factors.
You haven't said I could take a water break.
I bought you water.
Oh, all right. Here, there's a little bit
empty,
left.
though.
There's a little bit left. I'm going to take my water break now.
There you go. But like I said, I think, you know, now, you know, as the game goes on and Coach Fleming, you start to make some critical decisions. You know, now with 3 minutes left in the third quarter, you're down by 10. Now some critical decisions need to be made. What are you going to do? How are you going to tweak your offense a little more? Are you going to start attacking downfield a little more? Are you going to get your defense coordinator to start attacking on defense a little more, trying to force the situation?
So third quarter action, 16-6, Green Knights on top. You're watching our D11Sports.com Game of the Week presented by St. Luke's Sports Medicine. They fake it to Tominski. And I think Rissmiller just forgot what he was doing there for a second, because he was going downfield and then realized, wait a minute, I'm getting rushed here.
Yeah, and again, you credit that the defensive rush by Wilson for Penn Argyl's offensive line, Wilson's defensive line. If you're chalking up and scoring and grading out those two, Wilson's defensive line is winning that battle today, and I think that's something Coach Mutton will go back and look at. You know, they're winning that battle. Rissmiller does not have time in the pocket. All of his success has been on quick balls out to the short, allowing their receivers to make plays.
Yep, like that. Tominski, and he gets tripped up.
And that's a great play by Nathan King. You know, he's taken on the blocker in number 7 for Penn Argyl and Chase Kennedy. He fights off that block and then makes a nice open field tackle on Damian Tominski to limit that gain. In the first half, Penn Argyl was getting 10, 12 yards on that play. Nathan King stops that for a 3-yard gain.
Now throws, and that was behind his intended receiver, Chase Kennedy.
And that's one, if Rissmiller can look back, he'd want that back. He had Kennedy on a skinny post into the middle of the field underneath Fichetti and just not able to get it to Kennedy for the first down. Good play call by Penn Argyl, but good defensive play by Wilson.
I tell you what, you got to be pleased with this defense by the Warriors.
First time we've seen Penn Argyl punt today.
Yeah, hang time, pretty impressive. Over to Nathan King, and the ball got loose.
Nathan King on the return. Stop was made by Norman King.
They will start right at around the 30-yard line. St. Luke's, the region's largest sports medicine provider, covering more than 200,000 student enrollment and 40,000 student athletes in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, covering 8 counties and providing the most comprehensive and advanced treatment for athletic injuries. St. Luke's offers athletic training, orthopedic care, physical therapy, and concussion management, plus sports performance training for individual athletes and teams. During these extraordinary times, you can trust St. Luke's Sports Medicine to provide extraordinary care.
Now, I'm going to bring it up before you bring it up. Is this a must-score drive?
Yes.
I know you were going to ask that.
Well, I am going to.
Usually right around this time, that's when you start to ask that, right?
Yeah, it is because, you know.
I'll let you answer.
Yes. The answer is yes. Do you agree?
I think it's a tough one to answer, though, but I think.
Oh, they think so. Up top they go, and everything but the catch for Rodney Bronson.
And you credit Alex Moser. He had real good coverage. He very well could have interfered, but just stayed patient and rode that offensive player in Bronson out of bounds in coverage. But I think you're right. I think it teeters on it's a must score. It teeters on that because I think you're limited in the number of drives. I was shocked to see Penn Argyl come out that last series and throw the ball as much as they did. I thought for sure they were going to go back to that running game and just eat up the clock. Absolutely.
I think
next series Penn Argyl will do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd have to think they would. So I think that's what makes me believe this is almost a must-score drive for Wilson.
We don't usually agree. Actually, we do.
Yeah, we do a lot. Another guy down for Wilson. This is not looking good for them. Looks like it's number 8, Mackay Fields.
Marcel Days not dressed. He's on the sidelines as well for the Warriors. Matt, and how difficult, you coached in the Colonial League, and you know, when you have, and I don't know what your numbers were when you were at Saucon Valley, but when you have 35, 34, 38, 40, that, how tough is it for the coaching staff to really recognize as the head coach, and they're saying, all right, this is the guy that's, going in, all right, if this happens. But when it all happens, one after another, what goes through your mind?
It's tough because I think you just continually try to stick with your game plan of moving forward. And you have to trust that, you take that mentality, and it's a cliche, but you take that mentality of next man up. Well, like I said earlier, sometimes that next man up is, okay, we need to shift the guard to tackle, bring in a new guy to guard, or we need to take a tight end, change his jersey, put him in as a lineman number. It's those types of switches, and I think, you lose sight of that between Colonial League, Schuylkill League, and EPC. I think EPC, while they have more numbers, they don't necessarily have more depth to say. Some schools do, and some schools develop that, and it's a matter of, how well you can quickly develop and maybe get a younger kid in there faster than normal. But again, like you'll see in some of the smaller schools, especially, you had Palmerton last night. They have a small roster. You're really looking at, if a guy goes down, if it's a skill guy like a quarterback, maybe you have to put a running back to your quarterback now, and you need to bring in a different running back. It's those types of moves that really take place.
Nice round of applause for
Kai Fields, player down. Today's game also brought to you by Michael R. Globus, financial advisor at Morgan Stanley, located at 101 Larry Holmes Drive, Suite 301 in Easton, PA. For all your investment needs, call Michael R. Globus at 610-559-6380. Morgan Stanley Smith Barney, LLC, member SIPC. I want to thank Mike for everything he does, and also the basketball coach at Wilson. Boy, they had a great run this past year. We followed them through into the playoffs. And just loves being around the game. Is great around our student reporters. Just awesome. The connection, everything he does here with Wilson as well.
Absolutely. Personally, I thank Mike Clovis. He's my son is, as we said, he's in college. He wants to study finance, and Mike Clovis has always taken time out to meet with him, talk to him about the field and about what he can do and what to be successful.
Well, this one is short, as looking down towards June could not.
And unfortunately, that's a tough one again, having Weston roll to his left and try to get the ball out of his right hand, but that time able to get free and get a good pass out, just overthrown. But as we said, talked about it earlier, you see Coach Fleming offensively trying to push the ball down the field a little bit more, trying to be a little bit more aggressive with his offense. But here's what you see with those injuries now with special teams, having those backups go in and having those backups know they need to be on the field and when they need to be on the field.
Positive bounce. Do they get it? Actually comes back. So right around the 34, 35-yard line is where we'll see a minute and 15 seconds, a 10-point lead for the Green Knights. Matt says they're running now. Matt says they're running. They will not throw the ball on this drive at all. That's what Matt said.
And I would never fault a coach if they want to go out and they say, we have a 10-point lead. We're going to be aggressive.
Let's
be aggressive. Let's go after them. Nothing against that. I think that's a great call. I think that's a great thing. I think it depends on where your team's at. I think Penn Argyl is kind of in the middle. Do they really need that momentum burst? Do they really need that, or do they just need the confidence? Hey, let's get back to our identity and be physical and run the ball and just pound it down the field against Wilson.
They'll start from the 35, as that's where they're going to mark it, with 1:15 on the clock, and Rissmiller. And it's Rissmiller. Nice little hole, and Rissmiller gets tripped up after a pickup of about 9.5. That has really worked for them today.
Exactly, and I think that's where you start to see, they get the ball, fake to Kessler on the wide zone, the little pull play into the sideline and get Rissmiller right up the gut.
Inside 40 seconds. And enough for the New York Life first down. Stop the clock momentarily, move the chains across the 45 up towards the 47-yard line. Depending on what Penn Argyl wants to do, that could be the last play. They don't have to run a play here.
Yep. I think Coach Mutton's going to call his guys over to the sideline. Chain set. And let's set up for a fourth quarter.
So they're going to let that roll out. And time will wind down here in the quarter. 3 complete, 1 to go here from Smith Field. It's 16-6 in favor of Penn Argyl. You're watching our D11Sports.com Game of the Week presented by St. Luke's Sports Medicine.
Hall of Fame pitcher Steve Carlton knows what it takes to exceed expectations. He knows what it means to be part of a team that rises above the competition. He knows a champion. Steve Carlton knows St. Luke's Orthopedic Care.
Do you suffer from nagging neck or back pain? The St. Luke's Comprehensive Spine Program can get you better, faster. We're easy to access and don't require a referral. We'll call you, discuss your symptoms, and put you on a path to healing with the most appropriate provider. Call 1-866-ST. Luke's, option 6, or fill out the online form.
We are back here at Smith Field. Al DeCarlo and Matt Evangel, so glad you could join us on the opening weekend of high school football. And it's 16-6 Green Knights with the lead and the football and the flag.
We have 12 guys on the field?
How does that happen?
No. I think he counted wrong. Disregard that one. So, here we go, Al. Here's my knowledge now. So, offensively, the referee and the umpire are the two in charge of counting the offense every play before the ball is snapped to make sure there's 11 on the field.
All right, you're giving us some information there.
And you signal that to each other to make sure that there are 11. If there's 12, you signal that as well.
What about Article 3, Section 4, Clause 1, Paraphrase 3, and what does that say?
There's no Article 3.
No, there's not? Okay. Trying.
No, there is.
Jim Haney will say otherwise.
I'm sure he
so
will. I'm sure I'll get a text later on.
Frankie D'Angelo's going to send it to you. So as we start the fourth, they do indeed go on the ground and get another New York Life first down. Penard's doing a good job of really spreading the ball around. And that time it's Rissmiller. He takes it away, and Rissmiller pops forward and dives for about 8.5.
He's going to come up about a yard short, but a nice first down run by Rissmiller. And if you're Coach Mutton, obviously you like to see that toughness, but those are hits you don't want to see your quarterback taking too many of. You know, being in week 1, you have a long season to go. You can't take many hits like that. Hey, what's going on here? Okay, it looks like the ball was spotted incorrectly, but it is going to be a first down.
Oh, this is interesting.
The official on the near side.
All right, so first down we go. The ball all the way down to the 33-yard line. Rissmiller set to throw. He puts one up in traffic, and there's a little bumping going on there. Is there a flag? There is. Now, I said the bump. Okay, I saw the bump. You saw the bump too,
and I think the official saw the bump too.
But was it enough to draw that?
At that moment to the official, yes, it was.
So that gives Penn Argyl.
That's going to get them
great
15
field position.
yards.
Take a look.
You know, I think, and you know what the key there is. You know, I'll give credit to Alex Moser. He played that well. He saw it was coming a little underthrown, kind of put on the brakes, let Louis June run into him, and give him that little bump, and then make an effort for the ball.
So now you're talking a little Broadway, a little theater.
Hey, listen. I always told players, listen, you can help the situation.
1st and 10. Ball at the 18. Here's Grego. And gets down to about the 15-yard line.
This is one where I think you'll see Penn Argyl, see Coach Mutton and his staff telling the kids, stay in bounds. Keep that clock running.
Again, 3, second down and 7.
But Penn Argyl goes back to that single wing formation where Grego and Kessler are in the backfield. And so far, really, Grego's been the one running the ball predominantly out of that formation. Kessler threw the 2-point conversion, but it's been predominantly Grego.
Counter. And much more. You know, they line up. When they line him up, Rissmiller does some damage as he moved the chains for another New York Life first down to about the 1st and goal from the 8.
And they tried to run that counter play earlier in the game, and there was just too much penetration from the Wilson defensive line, but that time Penn Argyl's offensive line able to keep them at the line of scrimmage and make a clean transition in the backfield.
So inside 10 minutes, 16-6. High snap. Grego following the defense, and Grego into the end zone. So another touchdown by Grego. This one 8 yards.
And what a day Gian Grego's having today. You know, he's credited with 3 touchdowns, right?
2 touchdowns.
2 touchdowns.
Two-point
I'm sorry,
conversion.
Tominski had the other one. That's right, 2 touchdowns, and that's overshadowing the day he's having on defense. You know, many tackles for loss, many tackles to begin with, and then also a fumble recovery early in the game.
And that really is a dagger, as they'll go for a 2-point conversion here. And again, this is still huge. You make it, and they don't, but you make it there. Now, all of a sudden, it's still 2 touchdowns, 2 2-point conversions. So
Correct.
It's still a 2-possession game. So that was huge right there.
2-point conversion is no good.
Yeah, so we get a look at the touchdown again on our replay. Again, in that single wing direct snap formation, you have everybody, you pull the guard, you have Kessler blocking in front of you, Alex Moser blocking in front of you, and you pull Cale Grimm from his guard position to block in front of you. That's a tough thing to defend. You know, you're pushing the ball down the field. You know, so now we come out, and again, you said 16 points, that's 2 scores, 2 2-point conversions. So it's still in the mix, you know, with 9 minutes left. But again, what's going to have to happen, Wilson had started opening up the offense, starting attacking a little bit more downfield. I think we're going to see a lot more of that. But at the same time, I think we need to see them connect on those. If they can't connect on those, it's not going to matter.
Duke Helm, the D11 statistician, obviously with Wilson as well, does a great job with the stats. Just wanted to check, you know, on the stats for Brad Rissmiller. You know, he's had those runs, but he's also been taken back for losses, so it's only 30 yards, despite those 9-yard gains. When you have that big loss and brings you all the way back, you count on those. So a little bit different there. So 22-6.
King will kick it off for the Green Knights. Number 5, Chris West.
And some technical problems up here. Al's breaking the equipment.
Well, this is what I kind of try to do. Sean Riley pushing the buttons, directing traffic. And June breaks through. June.
Can he get away?
And June turns it up and say goodbye. That was quick.
And he's down. Hopefully this I would believe is just a cramp. But what a turnaround again. So we'll see Wilson come up for 2 here.
Boy, I looked down for a second, and June was gone, and then he got behind the defense.
77 yards.
So we now take a look at this again.
What is it for Wilson? You know, they like these kick returns, right?
So June, one of the up backs, he comes through, breaks 1 tackle where there's a lot of space, and then able to outrun the defender in Mason Seuss. He's the last guy and ends up into the end zone. Now that's 77-yard kickoff return paired with a 91-yard interception return for a touchdown. And this coming from the kid who's was the kicker last year.
Mm-hmm.
He was just the kicker, now playing a lot more offensively, defensively, and having a huge impact for the Warriors today.
That woke up the crowd, without question.
And as you said, that last touchdown, this is the dagger. Well, this puts them right back into it.
I never said that.
So Coach Fleming,
You said that.
Coach Fleming right now and his staff getting the 2-point conversion ready. If you can get this 2-point conversion, now all of a sudden you're in a 1-score game.
Today's game brought to you by Cliff Lewis Experience at Caldwell Banker Hearthside. Ranked as #1 real estate team in Pennsylvania, #2 nationwide. The Cliff Lewis Experience can help you with all your real estate needs. Serving the Lehigh Valley, Bucks, and Montgomery counties. Visit their website at clifflewisrealtor.com or call 610-936-9960 to speak with an agent today. For over 175 years, New York Life has been helping families and businesses with their life, disability, and long-term care planning needs. Whether you have a current coverage in place or in need of reviewing your options, please contact their office in Allentown to find the right plan to fit your needs. Call New York Life at 610-616-4430.
I would like to have seen Wilson put the ball in the left hash, maybe give Weston a roll out to his right and give him a pass or run read. Give him the opportunity to do one or the other.
Hey, he really has not run with the football for the most part today. Does he do it now? Nathan King in the backfield with him. And that one knocked away. Solid defense, and it stays a 10-point game.
The point conversion was intended for Jackson Millen. Is incomplete. 9 minutes remaining. The score now.
You know, there's two approaches to this on the 2-point conversions. Number one, you try to have a one-man option where you're just trying to confuse the defense, maybe catch them off guard. But there was not enough sell by Weston of the run up the middle to get those linebackers to commit to allow Millen to get free on that little jump pass. And the other one is just to line up and run an offensive play. It's 3 yards. It's us against you. Can you line up, have that mentality that we're going to push through, and we're going to get those 3 yards and get the 2 points?
You a 2-point conversion guy? Are you, did you coach that way? I forgot. It's been 80 years since you coached.
We always kicked. I tried. My biggest thing was we didn't want to punt. You know, if we had the situation where we could go for it, we were going to go for it. We weren't going to punt very often. So that gave us the opportunity to always think we had 4 downs, and we had 4 downs to get 10.
How about wearing shorts in November? Is that something you ever did?
Yes, that was something I always did, and now you force me to wear pants all the time. Pants in the middle of August.
No.
What the heck is that?
No, let's get this straight. Last year in November, or late October, you were wearing pants on your own, and you said you were cold. All right?
Listen, there's a difference now. There's a difference. You don't have that momentum. You don't have that. You don't have that adrenaline flowing as much, and you just want to stay warm as much as possible.
It's like 39 degrees, and you come out with shorts during. I'm like, what are you doing?
And now 39 degrees. I'm layered up, park it up, multiple hats. It's funny how things change.
Well, the coldest game I think you and I have had was at Nazareth, right? The Nazareth.
Oh,
I think,
yes.
Was it Nazareth East and Nazareth Northampton?
That was bad.
We were outside.
Wind blowing, a huge chill. It's just terrible.
Alaskan temperatures.
All
right, so 9 minutes on the clock. June right back at it. They go for the onside kick, and the ball is loose.
Wow.
Actually, he kept
that was
on it.
Loose for a little bit.
Second,
it looked like, yes.
It was funny when the Wilson player dove in to pop in and actually pushed that closer into the Penn Argyl player to take it.
So yeah, it was funny. Like you watching that though, one of the linemen, one of the guys on the front line, actually put his hand up and almost tipped that to where it would have given Moser a hard time to catch that. So once again, 2 scores, and you have to believe Penn Argyl's just going to line up and run the ball.
I just looked at Coach Fleming, and he is jacked up on the sideline, just yelling at his defense. He knows this is the possession for them. They can get the ball back. They could really be in this game. Here's Kessler, and Kessler breaks through. Boy, he was one guy away. I know there was a couple guys downfield, but he kept pushing his way outside and inching forward.
And to note here also, Wilson does have their full complement of 3 timeouts. So they do have that available to help them stop the clock.
Again, Kessler, ball loose. And there's a scramble. Wilson sends it in the
in.
football.
Wilson
they
does
do.
have it.
And Coach Fleming, ecstatic. There's the break the Warriors were looking for, and they get it. Wow.
And I have to say, absent from that entire offensive series, I didn't see Gian Grego anywhere in there. And he's been the one that's controlled their offense in this second half.
They're going to give that to Nick Muser after the Jackson Millen hit.
Ball is at the 45-yard line of Penn Argyl.
Well, Matt Avancho.
Hey,
8
here
and
we go.
change, and this is starting to get really intriguing.
And when you look at the Wilson offense and Wilson offense and defense, you're seeing new numbers from what the starting lineup was, as injuries have been plaguing them today. Louis June just went to the tent as well, so he's off the field for Wilson.
So they'll start things off at the 45 of the Green Knights. Weston rolls. Was going to throw there, and now will complete it. Some way, somehow, he got it off, and Jackson Millen, who just made that last play, makes the catch for 9.
Yeah, Wilson decides to run a waggle. They have play action going away to the field side. They roll out to the near side, have everybody coming across, and Weston does a nice job of avoiding the first guy in Kessler, and then with guys on his legs, able to make a pass to Jackson Millen for a huge first down play.
So second down and a long one. Ball at the 37. Weston going to run, and Weston going to push forward, and they'll mark him enough to move the chains, I think.
Oh, it looks like it's going to be
they
just short.
Are they going to measure this one?
Yeah, just short of the line, just short of the 35.
Wow.
And at this point in time, all that would give you is just a quick stop of the clock while they reset the chain. So it's just saving you a little bit of time.
Well, they want to get the first down, they do. So they move the chains with a New York Life first down and end up getting 3 in the process.
Weston again on the keeper, good for another Warrior first down.
Weston's taking a beating today. Again, playing defensive end as well. He's taking a beating right now.
Mason Seuss, numbers 73 and 5.
And these 2-point conversions, not making them, they come into play here. Again, obviously now you just score your touchdown if you can, get the extra point, and get yourself within a field goal. Again, easier said than done.
Absolutely.
Saw Penn Argyl earlier, thought they were going to punch it in. They went 91 yards the other way. Rodney Bronson is lined far side. Weston with a long count. Weston looking at Bronson momentarily. Now he's going to go up top as a receiver. That one incomplete. Feckerty was out there.
Pass intended for Ian Feckerty, incomplete. Bring up a second down and 10.
Yeah, he had him. He had Ian Feckerty free in the secondary. Didn't see him till late, and then just not able to put it in a position where Feckerty could go up and make a catch.
So second down and 10, the ball at the 32.
Right to the snap, false start against the Warriors. With a 5-yard penalty.
And it doesn't necessarily kill you right now other than taking the 5 yards away. I mean, the clock was stopped, so that doesn't start. So you're still fine, just a matter of losing the 5 yards. But it gives your guys a second to breathe as well.
Second down and 15. Weston trying to run, but nowhere to go. He's driven into the ground by Colton Keat.
Chris Weston on the carry. Stop made by Colton Keat. Third down.
Taking a lot of time here to get the plays in and up to the line of scrimmage.
Third down and 13, the ball at the 35. Weston going to go again for it. He's got June. Turned him around and incomplete.
Yeah, just a little overthrown. He had June behind Moser.
Rodney Bronson was wide open on the far side.
And I think that's what you'll see now. You'll see the secondary dropping deep, trying to cover those 15, 20-yard plays, and you'll have guys 10, 15 yards underneath. That'll still be open. Now here you have to worry about, it's not necessarily the touchdown, it's having your kids know and understand we need the first down. We need the first down more than we need the touchdown right now. Because without the first down, the drive's over.
Yep, game on the line right here. You would think 4th and 13 from the 35. Weston handling out of the pressure. Has some running room. He gets a block.
And that's when he has to get down the field. He has to know that situation.
They don't get the ball back. You're wondering, both teams still have their 3 timeouts left. Weston comes up a little hobbly.
So as I said, we didn't see Gian Grego in the last offensive series. We have to believe he's going to be on the field controlling this ball in this next series. Whether they have to punt or not, I highly doubt we're going to see him put the ball in the air.
Yeah, I agree with that. Straight through the middle.
You just keep seeing those direct snaps to either Kessler or Grego. And in no hurry. I don't think you'll see any hurry out of Penn Argyl right now. Try to use all of that clock that they can.
Yeah, Penn Argyl taking their time. Here's Grego. Grego pushes June out of his way. Another one out of his way and still on his feet. And Grego, after maybe going down, gets a New York Life first down.
And even with all that, with losing his balance and trying to keep his balance, able to stay in bounds, I think that's a huge one. So I'd have to say sometime in the next minute or so, depending on situation, is where we'll start to see Wilson take their timeouts.
Grego again. And again, making the turn and pushing forward for another 6 or so.
That's a missed opportunity by Penn Argyl, I believe, in Grego not understanding the situation that he needs to just go down inbounds. Those extra 2 yards don't mean a thing right now. The fact of running clock and getting time off the clock is what's the most important thing. We have another Wilson player down on the far sideline.
.334 on the clock. One more time with our sponsors for today. We thank them all. Cliff Lewis Experience at Caldwell Banker Hearthside, ranked #1 real estate team in Pennsylvania and #2 nationwide. The Cliff Lewis Experience can help you with all your real estate needs, serving the Lehigh Valley, Berks, Bucks, and Montgomery counties. Visit their website at clifflewisrealtor.com or call 610-936-9960 to speak with an agent today. For over 175 years, New York Life has been helping families and businesses with their life, disability, and long-term care planning needs. Whether you have a current coverage in place or in need of reviewing your options, please contact their office in Allentown To find the right plan to fit your needs, call New York Life at 610-616-4430.
So Coach Mutton should be talking to his players right now about ball security, making sure we hold on to that ball. Do not, it doesn't matter where you're at, 2 hands over the ball, protect it at all costs.
Wilson territory. Ball is at the Warrior 47.
Clock winding down to 3 minutes. This time in the carry was Colton Keat.
And here we see Wilson starting to use their timeouts.
Timeout, Wilson.
So inside 3 minutes. JFR Salvage is a full-service scrap metal recycling company serving the Lehigh Valley for nearly 50 years. JFR Salvage will pay you cash for all grades of scrap metal, including iron, steel, copper, brass, aluminum, stainless, and junk vehicles. Competitive pricing and superior service are just a few reasons why you choose JFR Salvage for your scrap metal needs. Please visit their website, jfrsalvage.com, or one of their locations in Wing Gap or East Stroudsburg. 11sports.com wants to thank Michael Argyl, financial advisor at Morgan Stanley in Easton, for his sponsorship of the Game of the Week. For all your investment needs, call Michael Argyl at 610-559-6380, located at 101 Larry Holmes Drive, Suite 301 in Easton. Morgan Stanley, Smith Barney, LLC, member, SIPC. (102nd meeting between these two teams. And I believe they still have the Warriors with 2 timeouts left. I believe they have 1, correct?
1 now. So with that, taking that second one, they have 1 now. And then if you are Wilson, you have to know, even if you get the stop on 3rd down, you call the timeout, they're going to go for it on 4th down. I highly doubt Penn Argyl's going to punt it. You know, you have 3rd and 4. Even if it gets down to like 4th and 2, you know, if you're on Penn Argyl side, you're thinking, okay, guys, we can get 2 yards. If you're on Wilson's side, we have to stop them from getting this.
Yep, see what happens here. St. Luke's is the region's largest sports medicine provider, covering more than 200,000 student enrollment and 40,000 student athletes in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, covering 8 counties and providing the most comprehensive and advanced treatment for athletic injuries. St. Luke's offers athletic training, orthopedic care, physical therapy, and concussion management, plus sports performance training for individual athletes and teams. During these extraordinary times, you can trust St. Luke's Sports Medicine to provide extraordinary care. Again, before today, Wilson led the series 53-44-4. How will that change? We'll find out in the next 2 minutes and 40 seconds or so. A lot of Grego all afternoon, and Grego inches closer, and they will call that a first down from the mark that I'm seeing.
And if that's a first down, I would be willing to bet Coach Fleming will not call his final timeout.
So another New York Life first down. Straight through the middle. Now Wilson will call a timeout.
Okay, so with 1:44 left, they will call that timeout. Can't take it with you.
You ever take any with you?
Oh, I've taken many. You know, I think he's doing one thing here. He's showing his team, listen, we're going to fight till the end, so we're going to use everything we have. And I think down the road at different situations, he might look at this and say, you know what, it's not about not fighting. It's about us, knowing there's a small chance of getting something done. So let's just get this clock over with, heal up, and come back ready to go. Because they turn around, having to travel to Palisades next week, that's a big game. And then having Saucon Valley, Lehighton, and Bangor, in that next stretch, they have 4 tough weeks coming up. And with the number of injuries and kids that have banged up today, I think for Wilson at this point, it's a matter of how can we get out of here healthy and get ready to heal up for the upcoming weeks.
So the Green Knights approaching their first win after going winless a year ago.
Brings up a 3rd down.
And one thing of note, and I mentioned this yesterday, and I'm just going to verify this. Wilson, by the way, is in the gold division. I was going through the new district brackets, the classifications. And what's interesting this year is Northern Lehigh is now a 1A school.
I saw that, yes.
And that becomes really intriguing all around because, it opens up the 2A, but Northern Lehigh in that 1A, I mean, they're a really good football team right now.
Absolutely.
You got Penn Argyl in with Catasauqua, top 4 go in that 2A class. With Caddy, they got Executive in there, Panther Valley, Salisbury, Williams Valley is always tough, and Palisades.
I think the biggest change is the fact Palmerton moving up to 3A. If they would have stuck in that 2A, I think that would have been a great opportunity for them. But I think 3A is actually, 3A and 4A become the 2 loaded classes now.
So they're going to wind this down. And we will get a delay of game.
They're getting the delay of game or the timeout. Oh, they're going to get the timeout.
Delay of game penalty against Penn Argyl.
Okay.
Officials will
I think it
communicate
was.
there was a timeout.
I think it was a timeout.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, just a reminder to remain in your seats while the Wilson area marching band plays our alma mater at the conclusion of the game. Stick around for that.
So one snap here for the Green Knights, and they will come up victorious.
And that will have to be for Penn Argyl and Coach Mutton and his staff a huge monkey off their back now. Get the first win since 2020 and win the 102nd meeting here.
And they won't take the knee. It'll be Grego just powers forward.
One more first down.
New York Life first down. That actually will stop the clock.
Momentarily.
And then set it and roll it. So the clock winds down. 22-12 is your final score as the Green Knights win this one, and they get their first win of the 2022 season. And the Wilson Warriors fall to 0-1. I think congratulate Braden Krasnopera, our student reporter, who was anchoring that Penn Argyl offensive line that got those extra yards as well. Well, as they shake hands, we will take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have Coach with you. You're watching our D11sports.com Game of the Week presented by St. Luke's Sports Medicine.
The team that we have put together of sport performance coaches and athletic trainers is why parents should choose St. Luke's University Health Network for their sport performance needs.
St. Luke's and our coaches are going to provide the safest and most comprehensive training environment that a student athlete would want. And I don't think there's anything in this area that can rival it.
People step up. Biggest one of the day is probably Gian Grego. He was our workhorse. He did everything for us. We saw him at the end there, ran the clock out for us. Got great looks from Damian Tominski out there. Quarterback Brad, he made a few mistakes in the first half. He cleaned it up. But we got to say it was a team effort today. Everyone on that field contributed.
Alrighty, well, good to hear from you, Coach. Congratulations. Have yourself a good weekend. Back to you guys upstairs.
All right, guys, thanks a lot. And a great job. His coach is going to go back and celebrate with his team there, and he's going to be a little ecstatic, I would say, right?
Absolutely. You know, it's funny. I remember Coach Mutton's first year coaching. He was that energetic guy. You know, he had a little bit more energy about him. Now seeing him a few years later, it's this calm, cool individual, you know, who's always collective, and you're not seeing much emotion out of him at all. And you know inside he's just jumping and exploding with the excitement from this win.
Yeah, no doubt. Take it to the scoring as we're waiting for Grego to make his way over. He will be our D11sports.com player of the game if you're didn't know that. No score after one. Gian Grego with a 9-yard touchdown run, then Kessler to Tominski, a 2-point conversion, made it 8-0, and then a 91-yard interception return by Anderson Luis June. Missed a 2-point conversion to make it 8-6. That was your score at the half. Third quarter, 16-yard touchdown from Rissmiller to Damian Tominski. 2-point conversion by Grego was a big one, made it 16-6. That came at the 5:18 mark. So the fourth quarter, it was Grego on an 8-yard touchdown run. They missed a 2-point conversion. That made it 22-6. And then a 77-yard kickoff return by June. They missed a 2-point conversion to make it 22-12. But overall, jacked up as Grego is making his way towards it. But obviously, a big way to finish this.
Absolutely. You know, and I think the identity of the Penn Argyl team, I think, is embodied with what we saw Gian Grego do and what Coach Mutton is preaching to his players, and that's just, we're going to play 48 minutes and we're going to play solid, hardcore football for 48 minutes, and whether we come out on top or not, we're going to give you everything we have.
All right, and with that, Gian Grego is down with our two student reporters, and we make our way down to him right now. Guys?
I'm Pearson Yulsis, student reporter for D11 Sport.
And I'm Chase Seller. So you have been elected our player of our game for today's game. Congratulations. And how do you feel about your game today?
We feel great. I mean, we worked hard all week. We didn't let up. We knew Wilson was a tough team. We needed to get a win. So at the end of the day, it's another win. We're moving on to the next team. Good job, both teams.
And what are your thoughts on your overall performance during today's game?
I mean, I'm not an individual. I'm a teammate. You know, 11 guys. Without the other 10 guys on the team, it wouldn't have been able to happen. So shout out to those guys.
Well, thank you. Congratulations on the win today.
Thank you.
Have yourself a good weekend. And we'll go back to you guys upstairs.
All right, great job by the guys down on the field. And, you know, with that, Pearson's so nice. He's telling everybody to have a nice weekend and everything else. And
Absolutely, telling him to have a nice weekend. You know, nice guy. You know, great interviews too. You know, and you got to love the answers by Gian Grego. You know, being a team player, it's not about me; it's about the group. And I think, you know, he's one of the guys. He's one of those seniors that went through that 0-10 season last year. You know, he's felt that. He's lived it. He's ready to make a difference here and get this Penn Argyl Green Knight team back to what they feel their standards are.
Yeah, no question about it. That will do it. Final score again is 22-12. I always forget the final score, by the way, and I shut the scoreboard off. 102nd meeting goes to the Penn Argyl Green Knights. Congratulations to Coach Brady Mutton as they get their first win since October. I think it was Halloween of 2000. Yeah, we were there. That's right, of 2020. And great job on the field by Chase Eller and Pearson Yulsis. Also Sean Riley, our producer. Dave Micah down the field. And for Matt Evantuel as well. Next week we will be at Saucon Valley for Salisbury at Saucon Valley. Hope you enjoyed this whole weekend as opening week of football is coming to a close and we get ready to have a bunch of more games coming your way on D11 Sports. This has been our D11sports.com Game of the Week presented by St. Luke's Sports Medicine. I'm Al DeColo saying so long. Have a great night.